All right, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Tripp, Smokepit. We're back from the break. Today we're talking to Damien Larkin, the author of Big Red and the upcoming sequel, Blood Red Sand. We're going to talk a little bit about both those days. So, yes. Also,
pleasure
on
as
that.
always. Oh, yeah. Random sponsorship moment. Jameson, bringing people together, you know?
Yeah, from across the lake. Give us a sponsorship, damn it. Also, I would like to give a shout out to Flashdance Designs for making me this badass over here. So, yeah. So,
slick.
Yeah, so, but before we were live, we were talking about how dumb shit happening in the military is not an American phenomenon.
Yeah, universal, right across the board. It's just everywhere, you know. I'd love to kind of like I'd love to have an explanation for it, but it's, you know, after how many centuries of warfare, we still can't get little things right. Like, you know, like I said, my story was spending 45 minutes trying to find the right billets. Like, an officer like dumped us at the first set of billets after we arrived to a barracks, and then went through 6 or 7 different ones, dropping stuff in, marching back out, and then we ended up sleeping in the very first billet. So it defies logic, right? I don't care.
Which is fucking dumb, because it's like, dude, listen, we're all getting the same paycheck. Like, does it matter where we sleep? No, because this is that unit's, not yours.
But that's the thing. I could understand if the place was jam packed out of it, but like the base was half empty, you know. So there was loads of different billets. There was like rows of billets that were kind of empty there. So we could have like literally went on a first come first served basis, but no, military logic.
Yeah, no. One of the things we would do a lot is they would, have people that lived in the barracks, and then every once in a while, one of the officers would get a bug up his ass to make sure that everybody that were in the same like sections and platoons were in the same hallways and roommates.
Oh, yeah.
So I have to do my shit from the 5th deck.
Yeah.
Down 5 flights of fucking stairs, just so I can like live next to somebody else that's in my section. Like, I can't just like walk up to that person's room and be like, "Hey, dude, you're here? No, okay,
yeah.
Fucking musical chair shit."
It's all rail band in it.
Fuck earth, goddamn.
Joys. But yeah, it's just the way it is. Well, you know, I'd love to have that an explanation for you. Think after all those years of like being an officer and kind of training and stuff like that, they'd have some sort of a clue how to do stuff. But yeah, what can you do?
There is something about that though. Speaking of Nazis being the bad guys, but there's this World War II I want to say it was like a briefing letter or something, but it was some type of fucking memo about fighting the Russians and the Americans, and it was saying that, like, you can trust the Russians to do this because they have doctrine and manuals that say do this. Yeah. However, you cannot trust Americans to do anything because while they have manuals and doctrine, they feel no fucking obligation to fucking read or adhere to it.
Brilliant.
If I don't know what I'm doing, the enemy cannot anticipate my movements.
Yeah, no, fair point. Yeah, keep it random. Like, why not? Yeah, I'll drink to that. Randomness.
Doing a lot of that. I'm also trying to get back on schedule. I've been doing this thing where I stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning and wake up at noon. It's like, no, I kind of need to start waking up in the mornings again because, like, next week I start doing shit again.
Yeah.
So
I'm back to college and all, yeah.
Yeah, going back to it. But I'm gonna get blitzed and like pass out at like 8 tonight. So I'm gonna be down with fucking JML. By the way,
you do it. Yeah. Hell yeah. Actually, yeah. Well, I have you there. Something. I mean, we've chatted about it a little bit and some of the other kind of things, but I kind of want to make this my regular segment whenever I appear, and it's called the Smokepit recap. So I just want a very kind of brief. We've kind of touched on it just a little bit, right? And I'm again, no spoilers. I'm not going to go into it for anyone who's still reading or has read it, right? But in one of the last kind of chats we had, a certain character makes an appearance towards the end of book 6.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know, and this is from the horse's mouth, right? We know that one of the chapters is set 3 days before the end of book 6, and the second chapter is basically picking up right where book 6 ends. Yeah. Can you tell us anything else about chapter 3 or any kind of tidbits without giving the game away or anything like that? Is there?
So like what's going on in book 7 is what you're asking?
Yeah, any hints or tips or without spoiling or anything.
How about this? When I was writing it, I was on repeat listening "The Wind That Shakes the Barley."
Nice, yeah.
So, there's your theme.
Okay. Barley's the theme. Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And how are you getting on? I know you stuck a poster a few days ago. You said you've 7 and 8 done, and you're starting 9. How are you? How do you think it's going to go in time wise, or have you got like an expected date to have them all ready to go?
I'm really shooting for the end of the year, but I was shooting for the end of last year too. But like school and like COVID and everything got in the fucking way.
Yeah.
I do have book 9 plotted out. Like I know exactly what I'm going to do, but it's all like, here's a sentence that needs to be 3 pages long,
Yeah.
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 And then like I have like 7's like, when I say almost done, I mean like it's like 3 drafts into it. Like I've had one of my buddies read it and he's like, no, this all makes sense. You just have to change like one thing. So I just need to get an editor and then do the art. And then 8, it's just the first draft. Like I haven't even reread it yet. I don't know if it flows.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I don't have a repeat of book 7, because when I wrote 7 the first time, I reread it. I'm like, this is fucking terrible. I deleted the files and started again because I was like, nah, this is bad. This does not hold up. I have a standard to uphold, and this is garbage. And I'm not going to publish this bullshit. So
yeah. Look, I think we've all been there. Right after I wrote Big Red, I got an idea for Big Red 2 and started writing it. And got about 66,000 words into the first draft, and I just hit a wall. And I was like, no, this is just no. I wouldn't inflict this on my worst enemy, so I'm not going to keep this story going. So I ended up just chucking it in the garbage, I did something that I'd love to kind of go back and do again, but like I know that feeling of just like no, just stop, just no, send it back to hell.
Yeah, no, so on that fucking what is it? Blood Red Sand comes out in July.
Yeah, 6th of July this year. So,
all right.
Yeah.
So, for the listeners at home, I got to beta read it, which by the way, I feel fucking honored and privileged. Thank you very much.
Well, and cheers. Thank you very much for checking it out. I much appreciate.
Dude, loved it. And like we said before the show, I don't want to talk about the plot because, it's not out and I don't want to ruin shit for people. But can you tell us a little bit about your writing process with Blood Red Sand?
Yeah, so to be honest, it was completely random. It was my publisher mailed me a couple of months after Big Red came out, and she just said, "Look, have you ever thought about maybe doing a prequel short story?" Because one of the other authors signed to Danson Lemur Press, Alex J. Kavanagh, he's got a fantastic military science fiction series called Castle but he came out with a prequel short story to his one, and he ended up getting like loads of kind of like new followers and downloads and stuff. So I was like, yeah, no problem. I love kind of writing in the world of Big Red. So I wrote roughly, I think it was about 11 or 12,000 words, and that ended up being the first part of Blood Red Sand. Sent it on to my publisher. After like a couple of days, she just came back to me and she said again something along the lines of, look, that's fantastic. When can I expect a novel? And I was like, sorry, Diane, no, this is a short story. We're talking about a novel. And she's like, no, this needs to be a novel. When can you have it? And I'm like, okay, no problem. Great stuff. So yeah, just whacked into it. Spent I think it was about 4.5 months getting it kind of all the different drafts together and just sent it on. And yeah, the rest is history. So it was real, just pure random chance that she kind of liked the story, hooked her in, and I just went with it then.
One of the things that I think successful about that book is depending on whose point of view you're reading it from, because it goes mostly in one guy's, travels. But having read the first book, what the other characters are doing, and it is both a prequel and a sequel at the same time. Like, can you go into the time travel, not time travel aspect of it, but the storytelling time traveling aspect of it?
Yeah, no problem. One of the big things, and again, I'm not going to go too much into it in terms of Big Red, but there is an element of kind of time travel there, and a lot of the story takes place in 1975, 1976. So that's the first tour duty of the 2nd Battalion. And one of the things that kind of people said to me after kind of reading Big Red, and fellow authors and kind of fans, they were fascinated by the story, or like the backstory of it. Like some of the main character in a dub kind of would have referenced some of the historical events, like the Battle of New Berlin took place 20 years before Big Red. Other questions were like, why is there like a bunch of like Germans there? Like how did they get there? What's the background to it? So that kind of fed into it a little bit, and I decided using Blood Red Sand, I wanted to kind of explore that background that people were kind of mad into. So when it came to the prequel kind of / sequel side of stuff, it was pure kind of random. I didn't really know when I was writing it, especially when I was writing the first part of it, I just assumed it was going to be a short story. So I left like a little bit of a hint in there about who the Black Visors were, but I never really expanded on it. And it was only as I started writing that all these different threads started coming together. So yeah, I'm kind of at the minute I'm kind of calling it a pre-sequel, because again, completely depending on how you look at it,
Yeah. Now, one of the things I did like about it too is you never in Blood Red Sand, you never sat the reader down and told me what was going on. Like I had to pay attention to what the characters were talking about to pick up what was happening. And it was like, is there going to be like a what happens chapter? Okay, there's not, which is good because you don't want to fucking like, hey, idiot, read this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, oh, wait, what is this guy talking about? 3 chapters later, oh, that okay. So
yeah, I mean, and I think I tend to do that a lot in
knowing, not telling.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I think like even in Big Red, there's a lot of misdirection in there. Like, there's a lot of kind of instances where you think it's going one way and then it's going another. So I kind of employed that a little bit with Blood Red Sand. I didn't want to just out now, this is what's happening. This is the background. I just wanted to be purely from the character's point of view, so they only have the information that they can see or they can hear it or briefed on. So, the likes of one of the main characters in Sergeant McCabe, he has no clue what's happening. I mean, he's just there to look after soldiers, to take down the Nazis. He doesn't know anything about the background events or the stuff happening behind the scenes. So I think it seemed a bit more realistic just to have him kind of figure those things out himself, or maybe not have all the answers questioned, but just to pick it up as he's kind of going along. So
right, which is a thing, because like you know how it is in the fucking military. It's like, hey, dude, go this way, do this thing. I know that I should have more information than this, but like my job's not to ask why, it's just to do it. But like, fuck, dude, like somebody could fill me in a little bit. God damn.
I know, yeah. But yeah, I mean that's what it is, and that's why I tend not to kind of write about officers. I tend to focus more on the enlisted and kind of NCO. So from the likes of Sergeant McCabe's perspective, he has orders, he has to execute them. That's it, end of story. He might want more information, but he's not going to get it, which is pretty much real world type of stuff,
Now I have a question about the Irish military, because like there's a difference in the ranks between like say us and England. Like in the UK, a sergeant is usually in charge of like an entire platoon, if not a company, as to where in the American military, a sergeant is in charge of a squad.
A squad, that's a section, isn't it? 9 people or
so that's 13-ish people. Wait,
okay, yeah.
So you'd have your junior listed guys, you'd have 4 of them led by a corporal, and then you'd have, if depending on if you're Marines or Army, you'd have 3 of those teams, or maybe 5 under a sergeant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a little bit different. I mean, we'd be very similar to the British model. So like, I mean, there would be differences between it all, but yeah, I think we'd be more like them. Like we had a section, and I think it's changed a little bit. But when I was in, it was like you had 9 people to a section. You had 1 corporal, and you had, like, in an ideal world, you had a second corporal, but normally it was just a 2IC. So a trained man, like a 3-star private, looking after it. So in an ideal world is always the best fucking thing. So
my first deployment, so when I showed up to this fucking battalion, one of the squad leaders was a private, right? Sergeant billet private. So and like everybody respected him, and all this other stuff. And I finally asked somebody, like, hey dude, what's up with this guy? Because like this dude's fucking chest candy was up here, and he's like, so got a DUI and got busted out in private, but he was a really good fucking sergeant.
Yeah.
So we took his rank, but we made him keep his job. Dude, that sucks.
That's the ultimate FU right there. Like, that really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like losing rank. And did he ever get it back?
No, I think he got out after that. Like you can like fucking they were really cracking down on that. So like if you had that kind of blemish on your thing, they didn't let you re-enlist. So
shit. Yeah. I suppose, look, it makes sense. But for someone who spent so long in it, that's got to be really tough. After dedicating so many years, and just that's it, done, no second chance.
Yeah, which is one of those other fucked up things too, because it's like, there is a conceivable way where I say good morning as an enlisted guy. I say good morning the wrong way, and some officer thinks I said it facetiously and with disrespect, and I try to like fight that, and I end up getting court-martialed. And because technically he was right, I get a dishonorable discharge. But like there was a big case a year or 2 ago where there was this colonel that got caught like fucking his like niece that was like fucking 8 years old.
Oh, Jesus.
They just force retired him. Like, kept shit. It's like, dude, like, can we like play ball a little bit? Or filthy listed swine. Okay, sorry. The peasants will go back to doing our thing.
Yeah, that's crazy. Kind of double standards, And did he? I take it he served prison time and all, yeah.
No, he got dishonorable. No, I'm sorry. He got forced retired, which means, hey, dude, you're retiring. Okay.
Jeez, and just like that, gets to walk away with it.
Yep.
That's messed up, man. That's really messed up.
And because the military fucking charged him, like you can't double jeopardy it in the civilian world with that.
All right, can you not? That's mad, yeah. I mean, over here, where like now again, I've been out a while, so like I could have changed, but it was always the civilian kind of what we call on Garda Síochána look after all kind of anything to do with people breaking the law, as opposed to the military police, So yeah, that's crazy. Jeez.
Yeah. On the other hand, it does kind of work out to the other way around if you get lucky enough, because like I had a sergeant who got hit with a DUI, right? It was like right before deployment. And the civilian courts were like, okay, well, we'll let this go off if the military punishes them. So they're like, all right, cool. We're going to punish you when we get back from deployment. Do your fucking job first and then do whatever. So like the battalion commander was just like waiting to burn this guy till we got back. But my sergeant was a fucking badass, like fucking like big Mexican dude, like nativity scene tattooed on his abs, like in your sleep kind of guy.
Yeah.
And the company commander like wrote him like a punitive letter, which doesn't do anything besides like, hey, you're stupid, don't be stupid anymore. And they couldn't double hit him with it when he got back. So it was like, I got my punishment, buddy. Sorry.
Well, look, happy days. Yeah. For stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think recently he retired as a master sergeant. So,
jeez, fair play. That's great going.
Good for him.
Take that any day, yeah. Brilliant stuff.
Oh yeah.
And meant to ask, I know probably going off topic again a little bit, but Project Refit. Any update on that? Like, because I remember there was a big drive there about a while back. Like, but how's it doing? Is it still kind of?
Oh yeah, no, they're not. So like they're on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, but most of what they're doing is done like in person, and then like through like I don't want to say internal networks, but like instead of like posting it on the page, just like dude, just fucking text me. They got a really good network for that. Shit, there was something else I was gonna say about them. Like they do a thing like I had Zoom before COVID just because like that's how they do their shit. Like they have like a twice a week like, hey, what's up? Everybody that's here just comes in, and then they've done a lot of really good shit. Like the first one I got into, there was some dude been out of the military for a bit, depressed, kind of like bummed out, like not doing anything, and then his wife got a hold of Project Refit, and it was like, hey, husband's not doing. Can you guys like talk him out? So it was like a dude 6-hour fucking Zoom call, and everybody was like, "Hey, dude, fucking been there, done that. Let me tell you about this, this, and this. Like, not talking down on you, but I know where you're at. And then like this helped me. If it can help you, that's great. And then like I think like 2 or 3 days after that, fucking we got a message like, "Hey, this guy doing great. He's working on his fucking car. He's running and shit. And it's fucking great." Although I have been trying to lobby them because it's like right now to get into it, you have to be, a veteran or a first responder. So, like police, firefighters, EMTs. But right now it's all American, and I'm trying to open it up to like the UK, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and all them. So
brilliant. Yeah. I mean, that'd be really good. If you ever get to kick that off, do let me know. Like I still know a few people who would be kind of like still actively serving. So be happy to kind of pass that along. I mean, it's fantastic. I think it's one of the things that, I suppose bothers me, like people who kind of like serve their country, go off, do a couple of years, experience all sorts of hardships, and then as soon as they're out, just nothing. There's very little in terms of support network. So, I mean, it's definitely, you can see how people can kind of fall down in hard times, and having a support network like Project Refit definitely sounds like a good call. So yeah, definitely keep me posted on the Irish side of things anyway.
Will do. And that's the other thing too, is like fucking what people don't really equate to it. Even people that have been in the military, I don't think they think a lot of it. And this isn't like a fix or a cause, but it is like a little bit of an explanation for it. Is like when you're in the military, fucking you have some fucking hard shit. Well, you're never actually fucking alone. And I don't mean that in like a I don't mean that in like a metaphorical sense. I mean, like, dude, you have like fucking 1 to 4 fucking roommates, and you are never physically alone. Like, it doesn't fucking happen. So you're forced to, deal with your fucking problems, or at least, express it, or like, hey, dude, you all right? Yeah, no, you're not. Okay, what's up? And then like, even if you don't want to talk about it, you fucking
no choice.
Talking about it, yeah. And then like the thing about that too is like everyone likes to point out that like mental health issues like spiked bad like after Vietnam.
Yeah.
But like in World War II, you think about it, you get on a boat, you go to war, you stay in the war till the fucking war is over, and then afterwards you hang out in that country for a year or two,
Yeah.
and you get on a boat and come back. So everybody that you did all that shit with that's still alive, you're there fucking talking to them. As to where, like, say, like fucking Vietnam, you could be in fucking Quezon and then 24 hours later walking around New York City.
Mad, isn't it? Just like that. Yeah. Really is kind of crazy in the grand scheme of. Yeah, look, a fair play to them. They're doing a fantastic job. Like, and even like just saving one life, you know, that speaks volumes. So, I mean, fair play to everyone who kind of helped that person out. So, yeah, great going. Keep rocking it. Yeah, but how's Dan Brady doing?
He's doing good. He's doing good.
He's a good lad.
I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about what he's doing because,
right,
COVID. But he's doing good. I had him down here for New Year's. He was one of the guys that got stuck and couldn't get out because
cool. Yeah,
fucking might have been just him at that point. Anyway, yeah, no, fucking. He brought down some venison and my wife made these things where we took all this deer meat and like wrapped it in cheese and then put it inside of a bun and then baked the bun. So you got this fucking bun this big that's full of deer meat and it's delicious. Although I don't know if Santa approved of that, but that'll
still
that's where he didn't bring me a PS5, so we fucking ate Dasher.
Right. Okay. Happy days, man. Let's go. That's deadly. Grand stuff. So, like, what's the next now on the scene? I know, again, we've touched a little bit about book 7, 8, 9, but yeah, what's the plans after that? Once you get 9 done, is there like 10, 11, 12, or?
Yeah, no, I got plans for it at 12, and I'm going to cut it off at 12, and then after 12, I have 2 books and then a series that I want to write, another series.
All set in the same universe now, or?
Yeah. So, do you remember that book, 50 Shades of Dave?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna write a story about the guy that wrote that. And,
no way.
And it's gonna be like his struggle to like get his book published. I'm just be like super meta about it and just like complain about everything in the fucking like author's fucking world. Our shit. But it's gonna be from the guy that wrote 50 Shades of Dave before he got famous.
That's brilliant. I love that, man. That's it. I have to say, it was very kind of clever how you did it. Just these random moments, Joe, in the story when they're just all kind of reading this book, and it starts off as just something so simple, or kind of like just like an erotic novel. It just changes then. Like, yeah, very good. That's
yeah. No, then do you remember in the second book there was that mech Get Some that kept coming down and sweeping?
Yeah,
I'm gonna write a book about that pilot.
Sweet.
And then I'm gonna write. I'm not married to this yet. It's probably only gonna be a trilogy, but the virescence that left Earth. Like, instead of like hanging out in the solar system, they're like, fuck it, we're gonna find a new place because our bad.
Yeah.
So
very good. And will that link in then with the original series, say that they kind of leave Earth or whatever after the place goes to hell? Will they be looping back into the main storyline, or are they just off doing their own thing? Or
it won't. None of these will be connected to the main characters. It's just in the universe, but like different storylines completely.
That's good. Like, it sounds like you have it worked out anyway. That's really cool to see. Like, where did you get all the inspiration for this? Because I know, like, you were chatting about like a lot of the kind of humor and is based on kind of like anecdotes that you would have had from your mates or friends of friends. But where did the actual kind of world come into it? Like, where did you say, right, this is what I want to do and write about?
Do you know who Etrigan was from the DC comics?
No, not offhand. No.
He was this like demon possessing guy, and he'd been around since like the Middle Ages. And also Highlander comes into this too, right?
Okay.
But it's like they're these immortals that live these like long ass fucking lives, and then nothing fucking interesting happens until they meet Batman for some fucking reason. And it's like, what was this dude's origin story? Don't give me a one-off. Like, why is it that like immortals in literature and media, we only hear like something that happens to them when they're like 5,000 years old? Like, what happened to them when they were 23?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it kind of spun off that, and like I had a bunch of ideas for different stories, which are all getting woven into the Smokepit Fairy Tales universe. Cool. But it's like the only way I can make these work is if this one person is there for all of them, and the only way I can do that is if he lives for a really long time. So,
right,
yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. Especially with this character in question.
Yeah,
who we're all dying to find out about. I'd say at this stage. That's cool. That's very good.
I was listening to a lot of Irish folk music. How about that?
All the good stuff.
Yeah.
Bit of Tin Lizzy as well. Don't forget that now, yeah.
Well, I mean, the boys are back in town.
Yeah, see that. That's deadly. No, it sounds really good. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to kind of sinking my teeth into it anyway, you know. Like I read, I think, pretty much all your books during the lockdown, like, or maybe I'd read the first one just before we kind of went into lockdown. So it was just really cool. It was like, you know, getting one book, finish that, dive straight into the second, because I ordered them, I think, like 3 at a time or something, like.
Yeah.
So it was great just having them all there and just diving straight into it, you know. So I think you mentioned it before. This is what your strategy is for 7, 8, 9. Is you're going to release them a month apart or something? Is it?
Yeah. Once they're done, I'm going to release them a month apart. So it's like bang, bang, bang. Because you know how I am in my books. Like, I'm like, dude, like, you can't end a fucking book like that. What happens next? And then instead of, you know, making you wait forever, it's like, here you go. Yeah, no, but on that, fucking is what's going on after Blood Red Sand? Fucking, you got something you're working on now for?
Yeah, kind of. You know, like I have loads of kind of ideas for how I want to do it. You know, right now I'm kind of. I've started now. I don't really like going into too much unless I hit like 10,000 words, but I'm a bit kind of superstitious like that. But out of the blue, I just had this brainwave of a story. I'd kind of been teasing out for the last couple of years, but I want to do one that takes place parallel to the events of Big Red, but it's happening in the American zone of occupation. So the likes of in Big Red, it was very focused on the likes of, you know, Irish and British stuff, you know, because I'm Irish, and I always wanted to write about Irish soldiers like in space and on Mars and stuff like that, you know. But it's real kind of like it's Irish British centric, you know. But there is references to the American kind of colonies, Nixon colony and Trump colony, and also I wanted to have a story that's happened kind of parallel to those events, but told from the viewpoint of these American hollows. The only difference being that like I think they're the third batch, so basically Mars Corp has kind of like figured out, you know, some of the processes and how to develop hollows. So they basically erase their memories, but it's all centered around a bunch of American teenagers who basically been ripped from their homes, have no memory of their life back on Earth, and they're just these kind of like perfect soldiers. And it kind of tells. Yeah, real kind of like proper, like, whereas like in Big Red they were all just regular kind of soldiers. There was nothing really too special, grunts, you know. I wanted these to be real kind of special ops, like what the Americans kind of used to take on the natives, you know, kind of blitzkrieg style attacks. But again, you know, things kind of change up a little bit, and I have one of the characters in Blood Red Sand will make an appearance in it as, I suppose, the leader of a new resistance movement. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking now. After that, I wouldn't mind kind of going into Big Red 2, because I haven't written anything in that kind of that part of the world for about 2 years, so I have the story kind of pretty much plotted and kind of planned out, and just I'll see how I get on. But yeah, they'd be the two main ones. I was kind of half teasing like maybe like an ebook or a very kind of short story or something like that based on the ending of Blood Red Sand. So basically the werewolf hunters of Mars or something, you know. We'll see.
Actually, on that, can you give me 1 second? Give me 1 second. Keep talking.
Yeah, no problem. How's it going, everybody? You can all watch me drink whiskey now. So yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to turn off my heater down here, and it's like a jet engine. I don't know if you could hear it or not. I had to like turn off my mic.
Yeah. It's not too bad now on my side, but yeah.
No, but when you're writing that though with the Americans, fucking make sure to hit me up for slang usage.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to need that, because even though I think I said it to you before, I only learned the difference between a soldier and a marine after reading Smokepit fairy tales. I think we chatted about that in the last one with Dan Brady. I mean, I've watched war films my entire life. I knew there was a Marine Corps, you know, watched like Jarhead and like, you know, Full Metal Jacket and all that, but I always just assumed Marines was just a specialist unit attached to the army, so I didn't realize there was like a difference up until, you know, I'd read kind of Smokepit fairy tales. And I think there was one scene when Hank is kind of talking to his brother-in-law, and the brother-in-law is trying to wind him up, and he keeps calling him a soldier. He's like, I'm not a soldier, I'm a fucking Marine, you know. And I was like, oh, right, now I get it. All these war films just come flooding back through the memory, and I'm like, oh, now I get that. Oh, it totally makes sense, you know. Something so small. Like, I'm 34 years old. Like, I never caught that up until 6 months ago. But
well, I was going to say the slang thing though is like, what is it, like? People like to call us Yanks, and depending on where you're at in the country, like if you're from like the northern United States, you get called a Yank. You're like, okay, sure, whatever. Yeah. But like during our Civil War, the South called the North Yankees. So even now, if you call somebody from the South a Yankee, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, bitch, what?
Gotcha. Yeah. It'd still be that'd still be a term that would be used over here a good bit now. But again, there'd be no kind of malice in it. But it would just be like, casually people would be like, "Oh, do you see what the Yanks are doing today?" You know?
Yeah, and like most of
That
it's
stuff. But it's just like it's
like like in country, it's like, listen, you take your ass back up to fucking Boston, all right?
up the Mason-Dixon line, is it?
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, that's a real fucking thing too. So on top of that being a line, there's a lot of other cultural differences. Like the Mason-Dixon line, like, you could say like, hey, look, that's where the Northerners are. This is where the Southerners are. There's also, if you go north of here, you can stay on the Mason-Dixon line and look north. But all right, you're not gonna have any good food that way.
Right. Okay. It's all down south. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like unless you go into like a specially fucking place, like no, you ain't fucking getting it. Like in New York, yeah, but like, I mean, like New York's got fucking everything. Yeah. You're outside of that. It's like, all right, so you're gonna go to Pittsburgh, right? You know what they do in Pittsburgh? They put French fries on the sandwich, right?
Oh, something like a steak sandwich or something, isn't it? It's supposed to be world famous or something, is it?
Yeah, but like really, all it is you take French fries and you put it on the sandwich.
All right, that's it.
And yeah, that's it. There's nothing fucking special to it. There's no extra fucking seasoning or spices. It's just the French fries on the sandwich.
Look, hey, if you make you Bob out of it,
I like it, but I mean, like it's not Cajun food.
Yeah.
Fucking Eric's over in the fucking thing. He's down in fucking Nashville, Tennessee. That place has got some fucking good food.
Yep.
Goddamn New Orleans has got great food. Fucking Savannah, Georgia, iffy. Anywhere on the coast, fucking is usually good. There, I will say the one caveat is in Maryland, and that one's kind of weird because Maryland wanted to secede from the Union, but and it's below the Mason-Dixon line, but Lincoln fucking overthrew the fucking state government and like put his fucking dudes in because Washington D.C. is between Maryland and Virginia. And but they have really good fucking seafood, and it's a weird. Is it in the South? Is it not? They were on that side of the war, but culturally they're down here. But like, I don't know.
Are you still seeing like even in this day now? Is there still kind of like a divide between like the Northerners and the Southerners kind of thing? Like, is it a cultural thing or?
It's mostly in jest.
Right
now, but I mean, yeah, like it's one of those things where it's like, dude, I don't really have a problem with you, but as soon as you piss me off, like, you fucking dumb Yankee, take your bitch ass back.
Gotcha. Right, okay. Yeah.
Otherwise, like, dude, you want a beer? Like, 'cause I got a beer. Like, drink some beer.
That's cool. Well, that's good. I suppose, like, I mean, I've read up on the American Civil War, like, and it's definitely an interesting kind of period. You know, even there was that PBS documentary, you know, the 10-parter one. And it goes, I can't think of it. I think it's literally just called The American Civil War. It was broken down into 10 parts. It was very kind of good, like 2-hour episodes each, and they take you through every aspect of it, you know.
PBS is some good shit, though.
Yeah, no, fair play to them. Like, it's crazy. We only got the channel in here like 2 years ago, but the amount of documentaries on it's very kind of good, you know.
Yeah. Also, the History Channel. I don't know how much of what your access is to that.
Yeah, have it all.
But like, you know, back in the 90s, like they had like a lot of good fucking shit on, and then they changed to like, okay, so hear me out. Roswell, that was Hitler in a UFO, and but they uploaded all their old fucking documentaries to fucking YouTube, and it's just like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of just like
deadly. Yeah, check that out.
Actual historic shit.
That's deadly. I'll definitely check them out. I used to love all those, you know, because I do remember, like, back in the day, it was all like World War II documentaries or kind of stuff about like Vietnam, and I think nowadays it's all like these reality TV shows that have nothing to do with history, you know.
Yeah, so the History Channel used to stand for the Hitler Channel because
that's what it was. It was just nonstop World War II Hitler stuff. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
I mean, it still kind of is, but it's, you know, how Hitler and the UFOs enlisted the help of the Zeta Reticulans, and that eventually lost them the war. However, due to Operation Paperclip, both the United States and the Russians took all those scientists that learned all their stuff from the reptilian overlords, and that's how we got to the moon. That's
literally my background research, the Blood Red Sand, right there, all laid out point for point, going through all these different conspiracy theories, just looking for common denominators, you know. Like, even like in Big Red, the jump off point, or the one I think the reference was the 1952 Washington UFO incident. where there was like for like 3 days there was all kind of like UFOs spotted over Washington, and I think Project Blue Book got involved, and the Air Force, and that was literally the opening chapter of Blood Red Sand, you know.
And I'm not going to go into too much of that because the book's not out yet, but I love like the subtle little things. Like, oh, so the Secret Scroll dudes, they're called the Majestic 12. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was cool. It was little things. I suppose, you know, I'm kind of like, I don't really believe conspiracy theories now. I always like hearing two sides of any argument.
That does not mean they're fun to read.
Yeah. Oh, they're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. But yeah, even when I was writing Big Red, I ended up just researching all these different kind of like conspiracy theories, and you know, everything about like, you know, people actually on Mars, and it was like maybe 5 or 6. Well, they claim to be former kind of US Marines, saying that they were stationed on like these bases on Mars and stuff. And you know, it was reading that, and I was like, wow, this is just, hang on, I'm just gonna take a couple of little minor kind of elements here and there and just wedge them all into some mad story, you know. But,
well, one of the things they don't tell you, like NASA won't release the high depth images. You can only get like the little ones, like, you know, the face on Mars.
Yeah.
If you get like, you have to go to the dark web for this, but if you get like a high def picture of it, like, the face has a little mustache right here.
The mustache, that is brilliant, man. Okay, I'm taking that for the Blood Red Sand sequel.
Dude, all you, man.
Yeah.
If you look at it from the sides, it's just a mountain, but if you look at it from the top,
yeah.
The monuments is up.
Yeah, no, that's definitely I'll have to look into that a little bit, yeah, because it ties in naturally. But yeah, I mean, those conspiracies are absolutely kind of like mad. It's some mad stuff, you know. Yeah. Interesting though, but
well, even the ones that like aren't conspiracy, or that are still conspiracy theories, but if you look at them like objectively, it's like, or non-objectively, it's like, how the fuck is this still a conspiracy theory? Like perfect one, aliens, right?
Yeah.
Now this is such a 2020 fucking thing. The Pentagon admitted that there were fucking aliens, and that the Navy was not, Navy fucking fighter pilots were chasing them down, and then no one gave a shit.
I know, yeah, it was. Yeah.
There are fucking aliens, yeah. But the way my stimulus package is working, like, you know, the COVID and all that.
It was crazy. I think we're all kind of like, because I mean, I think everyone's kind of open to stuff, and we've all kind of seen kind of footage of like UFO, supposed UFO kind of stuff, and you know, there's the party who kind of wants to believe it because like it's coming from like, well, you know, verified sources or whatever, or the military disclosing kind of stuff. It's an interesting one, you know. Like I'd certainly be open to a lot of the stuff that like people kind of talk about or kind of call conspiracy theories, but you know, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of years they start making all sorts of revelations about this type of stuff. But so we just have to wait and see, you know.
Yeah. Now, one of the other ones that I thought was funny, I don't know if we've talked about this or not before, but like before the 90s, like the most commonly cited UFO is this big black flying triangle, right? And you could tell what it was. It was like flying weird, and like that does not look like a fucking airplane. Like that's got to be a UFO. And then like after Desert Storm, they're like, hey, so we bombed the fuck out of Iraq with these things.
The stealth bomber and all, wasn't it?
Yeah. They declassified the stealth bomber. And it's like, I wonder why all the flying triangle UFO fucking stories disappeared after we declassified that. Yeah,
well, that's what they say. Like, I remember hearing a few people, or not a few people, but I remember hearing in general that they reckon that the governments of the world actually have technology that's technically 50 years more advanced than we have right now, and they release it in stages to kind of control development or whatever, you know. So, like 50 years from now, we'll have all sorts of mad gadgets that are actually in development and available now, you know.
Well, no, there's weird shit about that too. That like, so I was reading an article when I was in Afghanistan. So this, at the latest, would have been in 2010.
Yeah.
They had a TV that looked like a fucking sushi mat where you like rolled it up.
Yeah.
And then like you just had a little plug into it, and then, you know, you rolled it up, put it in your pocket, unrolled it, and then like it would still play the screen. But it's like I haven't seen that since then.
I think I saw something like that. Was that not like a new phone or a new iPad they were launching last year?
Yeah, no, I remember reading about it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, what? So I have no problem believing that there's more advanced technology that they're just not showing out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's always a possibility that it could be like a false flag operation, that kind of thing. It could literally be the Air Force or the Navy with these super advanced ships that are, I suppose, trying to throw people off or kind of freak them out a little bit, or just as shows a strength for a foreign government. So it is, you know, it's interesting. I'd love to, I suppose, like I hope there's hard evidence of like at some point in my lifetime of the existence of this, you know, different technology or alien species or whatever. But suppose, yeah, just have to see.
Yeah, no, but there's other stuff that could like kind of, I don't want to say backfire, but like maybe kind of work for us. Like, did you ever watch Robotech?
No, it doesn't ring a bell. What is it?
It was an anime from like the 80s, I think. Like, it was popular over here in the early 90s, but pretty much what happened was in the distant future of 1999. This aliens in the middle of World War III, by the way.
Of course,
like a million times worse than World War II.
Yeah.
This like giant alien spacecraft landed, and then the whole world saw it. And we're like, hey, so there's aliens, and I mean, it crash landed, and they're like, there's aliens. They're gonna come back for this. They're gonna kill us. We need to strip all this fucking technology, use it for ourselves, and band together so that we can fight them when they show up.
Yeah. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was real good, by the way.
No, it sounds good. I'll check and see if it's on YouTube.
40 years old, but like, I mean,
yeah. I know. I kind of like all that kind of retro kind of sci-fi stuff, you know. So yeah, definitely, I'll have a look for it, you know. But I mean, I suppose that is the utopian theory, isn't it? Like that, like if an alien ship does crash land or whatever, that all of a sudden we're all going to be like, yeah, let's all work together and band together and, you know, do this. Whereas, you know, I mean, realistically, given the climate in general between different nations, I can't fathom it happening. I think it would literally be kind of similar to what you wrote about in Smokepit, where it's just all these different kind of like factions or different countries called band together, use this alien technology just to destroy each other, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean, and then like that wouldn't even be a fucking national thing at that point, because like we like to think that we're better than this, but like next big thing that comes up, I swear to God, like it's happened a million times before. It's not done yet. Like, hey, listen, I know that like we're from the same country, we have the same political idea, we even have the same God, but you fucking stupid Protestant bitch, or you stupid Catholic fuck, or like you fucking Lutheran, like
yeah. Yeah, I think we always just find a way to be annoyed at something. Yeah,
yeah. Which that one always bothers me. It's like, dude, like you have the same God. Like, what are you mad about?
Yeah,
we worship him different. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, in that case, yeah, it's. I think like that people just look for reasons to be upset and to be angry and to kind of hate stuff. Like, I mean, you can invent any type of reason in the world, but like, I suppose just leave people like that to them. You know, I mean, there's religious extremists no matter what religion you are. You know, right across the board. You know,
one of the reasons I liked Big Red was like, hey, you want to go to this thing? I'm not part of the UN. Does that matter? You said I get to kill Nazis. Yeah. All right. Well, fuck it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Very open policy towards killing Nazis, you know.
Yeah, I mean, national pastime, dude. Fuck.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah, fun times. But yeah. So how's the podcast going anyway? Like in general, like because I know you're up to 30 episodes now. Like, so it's. Are you going to keep this going, or what's the game plan?
No, I plan on keeping it going. I mean, because like it's. I mean, doing as about expected for like a nobody that nobody knows fucking starting a podcast. So you know, numbers are. But at the same time, like, this is my excuse to day drink and like talk to people.
I'll take that.
It's not like I can go to a fucking bar or just like outside and like drink and fucking have a smoke and shoot the shit, or as my friend across the lake would say, fucking have good crack. But
yeah, no, it's good. You know, definitely you've certainly had like a good few kind of guests on. Like, you know, a lot of them like real kind of interesting stories as well. Like, you know, so yeah, fair play to you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Oh, so something else I did want to bring up. I said this in the comments earlier about the fucking thing, which I think is an interesting parallel between your books and my books. Like, all right, so we're on Mars. There's aliens, there's machine guns, redheads, and swastikas.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, definitely a lot of kind of common ground there, you know. But I mean, like you said, it's just I think it's like Mars is always going to have that, you know, fascination for kind of writers and kind of dreamers and stuff like that because it's like the closest planet to us, you know. Yeah. And for me, it all came from like a nightmare. You know, I had a really, really crazy nightmare one night. Yeah, it was like I have a very vivid imagination. I always have, but I think because of that, I always have very vivid dreams. So like I'm one of those people who can 9 times out of 10 I can remember what my dream was about, and I kind of, if I think about it, I can interpret it. And it's normally just, you know, stuff I'm picking up during the day or whatever. But I remember one time I just had a really deep sleep and had this vivid dream of I was dressed in kind of like my Irish kind of army uniform, and this is like a few years after I left.
Yeah.
And I was walking through a barracks, and there was like someone beside me. But as we were walking, these rows of like, you know, the cots, like the beds, were filled with kind of Irish soldiers, and they were just screaming their heads off. And I mean, like screaming. It was like ear piercing. Like you could feel it like deep inside. It was like agonized pain, but not one of them looked like they were shot. There was no kind of visible wounds, and I'm just kind of walking through these rows of soldiers looking around, and people holding them down and trying to, you know, give them, you know, stuff to kind of knock them out or calm them down and all this. I remember once I got to the end of the row, I kind of turned and looked, and it was like this calendar, but instead of it being like, you know, just a stationary calendar, it was like a picture of the planet Mars kind of just swirling really, really slowly, like some really vivid kind of 3D image, almost like close enough that I could reach out and touch it. I remember I just woke up at the start and just terrified. And I very rarely have nightmares or anything like that, but I just woke up terrified, sweat, kind of like breathing, just like, what the hell? And it took me a good few minutes just to calm down and realize, okay, that was a dream. But then after that, it started kind of like, you know, creeping in. I was like, I wonder, I mean, I know it's a dream, but it's like, what were they screaming about? And that became the basis of Big Red, which is roughly the first 2 chapters of Big Red.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a pure inspiration, you know, winged it pretty much since then.
Yeah, dude, man, fucking like dreams are nuts. And like you read my stuff, you know, fucking.
Yeah, the creepy ass. Yeah, monster yoke. Yeah.
But I think that like dreams are a good fucking narrative device, like either for inspiration or like, hey, maybe the character has a dream about this. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
We can try to make it sense, but at the same time, it doesn't have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I not super often, but like enough to say often enough, have dreams about Afghanistan, but it's never like nightmarish, and it's always like super much like, you ever just have like a boring dream? It's like I'll have like a boring dream that like I'm sitting down like outside the fob eating a fucking MRE, and then like somebody I know in real life that wasn't in the military is there, and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. Like there was one time okay, so this one happened in Afghanistan, right? So first off, like, you know, we didn't have like bathrooms. We had like a tube you fucking pissed in, or like you shit in a bag. And we were taking this stuff called mefloquine, which is like an anti-malaria fucking like drug, but it also gives you like just like fucking hallucinogenic fucking like fuck dreams. But I got up in the middle of the night, right? And I walked out to the fucking piss tube, and I'm taking a fucking piss. And next to me walks up this fucking unicorn on his hind legs, and he starts pissing next to me. And I'm like, I have not seen that guy in a hot minute. He's like, dude, what's up? And he like looks at me to say what's up. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Fuck, wake up, just drowning in my own piss. I'm like, God.
Jeez, dude, that's freaky. That's freaky. But yeah, look, the way I look at it, like, if you can monetize your nightmares, happy days. You know,
apparently that's what Stephen King does. So I mean, or did.
Yeah, in good company, then.
Yeah, right.
Start.
Fucking, like I can wish, I can dream, I can dream to be relevant as Stephen King.
Yeah, well, look, it's like anything. It takes fucking hard work and kind of grind. So, I like, as long as we're kind of doing the best that we can do, you know. Like, I mean, that's one of my things. I'm very clear cut in what I want out of life. You know, I've never really knew what I wanted to do. Like, I was never one of those who kind of left school and was all like, oh yeah, so I'm going to do this job or I'm going to do that. I worked my pretty much my adult life since I was like 16, one way or another. But when I started writing, that was the first time I had that like aha kind of light bulb moment where I was like, this is what I want. This is it. You know, I'm quite happy to do kind of jobs or whatever, like, kind of thing, but this, I'm going to be a best-selling writer, and I don't care how long it takes me. If I'm 50, 60, 90 on my deathbed and I'm bestseller, you know, that's what it takes. I'm just going to keep doing. I'm just going to keep pushing, you know. So I think if you have an attitude like that you just, this is what I want. I know clearly and concisely what my end game is, and you just spend, you know, as much as you can in terms of time and effort, hoping to achieve that goal. You know, I think that really helps.
Yeah, no, like I'm totally with you on that. It's like, dude, I'm gonna go get a job so I can, like, you know, pay the bills, because that's a fucking thing. But tippity tap type my free time. I'm gonna make this fucking happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Like I worked part time there for a while. I've only actually gone kind of back to full time work in the last couple of months, because I used to look after my 2 children were very young, so I used to kind of look after them. But you know, they're getting a bit older. they don't, and the schools were open back then. I kind of went full time, but just because like I didn't want to give up my dream. I've got like a 40-minute lunch, and I just write the whole way through. So it's basically I do my kind of work when I'm in work, and as soon as I have a bit of time, it's like spend my 15-minute breaks doing the social media kind of like author thing, and spend the 40 minutes writing, editing, kind of and any spare moment then after that. So just because that's what I want to do,
Yeah, dude. Also, I'm gonna bring this up. The fucking social media aspect of it is a fucking bitch. Like, I just like write the books and you fuckers read it. No, no. I have to bring people in to read it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't get it. I've said it before. Like I understand social media. I'm not a big fan of it. I use it because I understand the power and the reach that it has. But I mean, one of my end game goals is to be famous enough and rich enough that I can basically hire someone to look after social media for me 24/7. I can just maybe give them a bit of an update here and there, drop them a quick email, just stick this up, make me sound witty, charming, and amusing the whole time, and I'll just focus on the writing,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is one of the end game goals. Don't know how many years I am away from it, but look, we'll see. Because it takes up a good chunk of time, and I can even see it on Twitter, especially, and I think it made my feelings very clear about Twitter. People can get sucked into the void of just rather than kind of writing, they're spending their free time. And I mean, there's no harm in it if you need to interact with people, definitely. But when you spend too much of your time when you could be doing something more productive, like writing or like editing or something like that, they're just tweeting and all this the what they call writers' lifts or followers' uplifts or whatever, that type of stuff. And I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like it. Now, granted, like I enjoy social media for different reasons. Like I think I would be a more sales-wise a more successful author if I didn't enjoy shit posting so much.
Yeah, you do have some great ones.
Like, I want to say something stupid.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something stupid. Should I say something stupid? Jameson, should I say something stupid? No. But if you do, I'll give you a sponsorship. Okay, Jameson, I'll say something stupid. Sponsor me, Jameson. Got it.
Come on.
Dude, we're bringing worlds together, man. Fuck.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've said it before. I think the funniest one I've ever seen you do in terms of shit posting was the poser one with the agent. Like that was just brilliant. Still a poser.
Well, I mean, your job's to like get books to publish, right? Like, dude, I'm here, man. Fuck, dude. And literary agents are fucking goddamn cocksuckers, dude. Like, fucking. So, I got in contact with one of them, right? And so, like, before I, fucking self-published my shit, fucking, I did the right thing. Or like I went on the fucking writer's market, I found a bunch of fucking literary agents, I read all their blogs, fucking figured out they were special tailored fucking like literary fucking or query letters. Like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Fucking, I want to say I probably sent out fucking 500 fucking letters. I'm sorry, I'm not interested. And then like one that was like, dude, I'm interested, but you got to change the aliens to vampires. I'm like,
right.
No. But I have a buddy that's he's a ghostwriter. Like he's written a couple books. I had him on the show, Ethan Rocky. Real good fucking dude. But he put me in contact with this fucking literary agent. And I was like, hey, look, I'm not trying to pitch you my book. I want to fucking ask, right? Like, fucking, can you help me out with just like some information? He's like, yeah, dude, I can help you with some fucking information. So I'm like, all right, listen, this is what I'm about. This is what I do. This is like my fucking sales history, blah, 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 all this shit. My plans, fucking whatever. And then, like, I never fucking hear back from this guy. And this is, like, the fourth email in where I fucking actually sent him this shit. And it's, like, months later. And I'm like, all right, before I send this guy a fucking, hey, what's going on email, let me go check his Twitter real quick because, maybe he died. I don't fucking know. So I go back a couple months, like, back where, like, I sent that fucking letter. And then, like, he has this vague post that is literally about my books, but he doesn't name it. I was like, yeah, fucking... somebody pitched me this, not interested. I'm like, dude, I didn't pitch that to you. I was asking you fucking questions. Yeah, that's a bit of a dick move. Okay, fucking go fucking choke on a cock, you fucking bitch.
Yeah, there's no need for like, I mean, it's tough enough out there. Like, you don't need people kind of shitting on your work,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I suppose like any industry, there's maybe 99.9% of people are all sound, no issues with them. There's always going to be like 0.1% who just enjoy kind of like, I suppose stirring the pot a little bit or just being kind of insulting for the sake of getting a few extra likes,
Yeah. Well, what was worse though is like, so I don't have a big Twitter following. I got like fucking like 120 fucking followers. But like, this dude had like 30 fucking followers, and it's like, dude, look, if you're
Yeah.
shit posting for clout, like maybe not trying to be a dick, but
Famous last words.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, well, look, what can you do about it? You know, it's just one of those things. And like, is this your kind of is that your goal? Right? Are you intent on staying kind of indie? Like, would you ever consider going trad or anything? Or
I'm at the point now where I'm going to stay indie until someone comes to me and says, "Hey,
gotcha.
You're doing all right. Do you want to get picked up?" And then I'll be like, "Hey, look, fucking, I'm doing this. I'm making this much money off of it. You have to like match this, and then also you have to publish all my shit, or you can fuck off because I'm doing all right without you."
Yeah. I think that happened for Andy Weir, wasn't it? Do you know the fellow who wrote The Martian?
Yeah, other
he's
fucking Mars guy.
stuff. Yeah.
Other fucking Mars. Well, fuck. I don't think I wrote about potatoes in mine.
Yeah, mistake number one.
That dude's whole thing was about shitting and growing potatoes. So
yeah, pretty much. Look, it kind of worked, and then there's plenty of examples of kind of like indie authors who kind of just make it big and then end up getting signed or getting an agent. So it's certainly not unheard of, I think even a good few films released over the last couple of years that are based on kind of what were originally indie author works. Like, so it's definitely not unheard of,
Yeah, but yeah. I mean that goes back a fucking hot minute. Like people like to cite Anthony Weir and then the woman who wrote
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, which I think they're fucking dumb fucking books. And when I say I think they're dumb fucking books, I don't mean that like I read the back and I know the clout. I think it's stupid. I mean, like, I spent a lot of time on deployment. You fucking read what you got.
Yeah.
Also on that, Twilight fucking. I put that book down on deployment. That's how bad.
Right. Okay.
But there was authors fucking going way the fuck back that was doing shit where like they'd have a buddy that had a fucking like printer in their fucking like basement in the fucking 70s, and they would like print their book out and sell it at fucking flea markets, and eventually would get to the point where somebody was like, "Hey, that you want us to like actually publish that for you?" It's like, okay,
yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, well, look, it certainly happens, It's definitely like, I mean, there's historical kind of situations where like I think some of the best writers out there kind of like who are now kind of like, household names when it comes to like science fiction and fantasy and stuff, all started off with like kind of just short stories in magazines. And like even I think Hammer Slammers was just a collection of different stories until it was published together, and it grew kind of huge then in the end,
Well, but, that's how Starship Troopers got cut off too. That was originally let out half a chapter at a time in a fucking reader's magazine.
It goes to show, and it's one of those like seminal kind of books in terms of military science fiction nowadays,
Yeah.
So like I think even Robert Heinlein, I think he paused it or something to work on one of his other books. Was it Stranger in a Strange Land or something?
Yeah, which by the way, that's also a fucking killer book. Like, a lot of people like read Starship Troopers and like leave it alone. Dude, no, like read that. Read fucking Friday. Read Stranger in a Strange Land. Fucking read The Cat Who Can Walk Through Walls. Like fucking. Yeah. That dude had some fucking shit. It was good.
Fair play to him.
Yeah, but the other thing though is like Starship Troopers. Like everyone likes to think that's an influential book. However, that book is more influential, unfathomably more influential than people give it credit for. Because, what is it? Starship Troopers, like in the book, a lot different from the fucking movie. But in the book, they were running around in giant fucking robots. So that inspired Mobile Suit Gundam, which kicked off like the fucking like Japanese giant robot fucking genre. So everything that came from giant Japanese robots, which fucking split off into fucking anything, like what is it?
Yeah, I mean there's loads of gear.
Like The Edge of fucking Tomorrow, that Tom Cruise fucking movie. Robotech, like you were talking about earlier, like anything with giant robots in it can be traced back to fucking Robert Heinlein.
Yeah. Some legacy, And I think that's like, I suppose it's one of those aspirations to be able to kind of like write a book that has, the potential to leave that type of cultural legacy that like, that's the standard. That's what kind of people emulate, or that's where they want to kind of take science fiction in a new direction based on your ideas, So it's really cool, One day.
Yeah. One day. Also, while we're on Heinlein, how the fuck is there not a Stranger in a Strange Land movie?
To be honest, I've never read it. I only read Starship Troopers after I'd signed a publishing deal with my publisher. And it was only then, because like when I wrote that book, I wrote it as a science fiction, and I pitched it as a science fiction, because my publisher came back and said, actually, that's probably more kind of like military science fiction, which is one of our biggest selling genres. So it was, okay, military science fiction. Okay, Google that. I came across like loads of kind of stuff. Like I'd watched the Starship Troopers movie and even the CGI kind of animated series when I was kind of younger. Yeah. But I'd never actually read the book till afterwards, and that and the Forever War and the Hammer Slammer stuff and all that, you know. So.
Okay, so I got 3 points. First off, the Forever War pissed me the fuck off, because there's 2 books called the Forever War. One's that science fiction book. The other one is just a bunch of letters people wrote from fucking Afghanistan, because, you know, it's the fucking Forever War. Like, it's still fucking going on.
True, yeah.
But I got the one that I didn't know there were 2 books. I just picked up Forever War. I got home. I'm like, this is just a bunch of letters from people in Afghanistan. Like, I don't give a shit about this. This is nothing. Like they told me.
Been there, done that.
To be. Secondly, Stranger in a Strange Land. The plot of that book is they send the first like manned mission to Mars. Cool. Everyone dies except for this one woman who's pregnant, and then she dies after she gives birth, and then the Martians like raise the kid, and then like 20 years later we send another expedition to Mars, and then they find this kid, and the Martians are like, holy fuck, there's Martians here. Why do you have a human? Oh, this is this kid's thing. And they bring that human who was raised by Martians back to Earth, and it's like his trials and tribulations. Cool. And then also back to Starship Troopers. All I'm going to say about Starship Troopers is, hey man, if you shoot a nuke down a bug hole, you get a lot of dead bugs.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good, man. So good. Well, you know, I actually like the film. You know, I know like it gets a lot of flack from kind of purists and stuff like that. You know, but I really enjoy it. You know? Oh
yeah, no, and like I would like to say that I'm a purist about the book. However, like the book and the movie are so fucking over here. Like, it's like you read the back and decided to make a movie without even reading the rest of the book. And I'm down. Fuck it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading. I think a lot of the reasons why they tried to add the comedy into it was because they wanted to kind of overplay what they saw, like, or downplay what they saw as like fascist overtones in it. Because I think Heinlein, you know, the way he kind of went into a lot of his philosophical kind of ideas and kind of ideologies that like a lot of people associate that with fascism at the time, you know. So they wanted to kind of give it a more comical look, which I think worked really well. I thought it was hilarious, you know.
Yeah.
Those little kind of vignettes, you know, in between, you know, just, you know, talk about like public executions and like kind of bugs and stuff like that. I thought it was brilliant. I loved it.
But it also works good as a fucking action movie. There's a lot of shit that just doesn't make sense. Like when Radchek got like ate up and he's like, they're dying. He's like, you know what to do. It's like, dude, the bird is like 5 feet that way. You're already missing your arm. Like we know you can get robot legs.
Yeah.
Like, do you want me to drag you 5 feet to the fucking evacuation medical fucking helicopter? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Fuck it.
Just want to die like a boss. Yeah. Why not? Go for it. No. Yeah. And I liked the third one in that as well. I think I tried to watch the second one, but it was literally it was like a bunch of college lads in their kind of basement who kind of just like took some footage and then just put a bunch of sand over it. Like it was terrible. I just couldn't. But the third one was actually pretty good because it got Johnny Rico back in it again, you know. It was really cool. And it had that real funky tune, you know, like the Federation theme song. You know, it's a good day to die. Now we know the reason why. For the Federation, I will give my life, honor, duty, courage.
Okay, so once again, 2 things. First off, I would love Starship Troopers movie that was accurate to the book, where Juan Rico from Manila did all that shit. Also, this is a question a lot of Americans have, and I'm going to ask it to you.
Sure.
Okay, so you know, like we all have different accents, right? Like the Irish do not sound like the Scots, do not sound like the English, do not sound like the Welsh, do not sound like the Canadians, do not sound like the Australians, do not sound like the New Zealanders, do not sound like the South Africans.
Yeah.
Why does everybody sing in the same accent, though?
That's a good I never really kind of thought of that, you know. Yeah. I don't know, maybe because you're thinking about it, you know. If you're singing the song, you're remembering the words and you're focusing more on the words and the tone of it.
Can I use you for an experiment real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. What was the last thing you said? You're thinking about it?
I don't even know.
No. Just say you're thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it.
Sing that.
I'm thinking about it, baby.
That's so different. Why is that so different?
It's adding a bit of funk and life to it, you know?
It shouldn't be different. It shouldn't be different. And no, that's the same thing fucking in America. Like fucking like you get people from like I'm sorry, hold on, let me do this right. All right.
Right.
So you get people from like California that like, you know, want to talk about this and that, and then you know you get some people from some places that are doing their thing down in the thing, and then y'all yelling to get some bars, but we're all wasted in a bar. It's like,
yeah, no, fascinating point. Yeah, can't fault you for it. Yeah, I suppose I've never kind of thought of it like that more than anything, you know. Yeah, it's definitely a weird one. If you ever kind of figure out why that is, do let me know, you know.
Nate's over here in the comments saying there's a YouTube video about it, and Nate, fucking DM me that, and then I'll fucking disperse it to the fucking masses, because like I kind of gotta know. Like I understand how like language evolves, and then like things change, like not etymology wise, but like say, you know, in the northern United States, there's more of what would be the accent of people from like northern England, but then the further south you go, you get that little more of a drawl, and it's kind of like I wonder where that comes from until you look at it. To where the southern United States, before it was English, was like French and Spanish. So you have a bunch of people or the way that their diction started off was, you know, French and Spanish trying to speak English, and then that kind of, you know, altered things a little bit. Yeah, no, I don't know why singing's the same. Oh no, and then the worst one is like you listen to Accept, right?
The one?
Accept. Balls to the wall. Fucking, you don't know that band?
No.
There's a metal band called Accept. They're bigger in the 80s. They kind of sounded like a cross between Judas Priest and AC/DC.
Oh, nice.
And they fucking rocked. And like their lyrics were in perfect fucking English. However, the lead singer did not speak English. Fucking that shit, because they were Germans, but his girlfriend would like write the lyrics out for him in fucking English, and he'd be like, "So pronounce it like that." Okay, cool. All right. And like,
Rammstein, isn't it?
Say what?
Joe Rammstein.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like Rammstein sings in German, so I mean, like,
no, they there's English words in their songs. You know the song America. Joe, we're all living in America. Coca-Cola, sometimes war.
which I take issue with that, because he said sometimes war. Okay, so America has been around for like what, fucking 270 years or some shit. If you look at it fiscally, we've been at war for like almost a millennium and a half.
Jesus.
Like, and by the way that works, like, hey, listen, we're at war with these people in like 1900 and these people in 1900, so that counts as 2 years because 2 different wars, whatever. Like, we've been around for less than 300 years, but we've been at war for like almost 2000. Like,
that's a lot of war.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Huh? Definitely keep you posted on your theories when it comes to why we all sing the same.
Yeah. No. Fucking. I don't know.
I'm just going to drink more whiskey till I figure it out.
I'm with you on that.
So yeah, I got a question for you, right? Say, John, when you make it big, give it probably take a couple of years, like kind of thing, you know. But when you make it big and you get your movie deal, who's going to play all the main characters? Have you thought it out?
Oh, no, I haven't. Like, I have my what I would want once, but I would think it would almost have to be animated, because like Hank and Doc, you know, they're immortal, and like also, by the way, if I'm spoiling anything, they became immortal in the first book. It's been up for fucking 5 years. Catch up. But given like how long it would take to like make those fucking movies and, you know, spread everything out, like it would almost have to be animated just to like not show the fucking aging fucking process, I guess.
Yeah, gotcha.
That and like the Virescent characters, like they age, but it's like super slow. Like, you know, their lifespan's like 2,000 fucking years, and you know, like what is it? Like in the first book, Penelope's 87 years old, but she looks like she's fucking like 19.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you could almost CGI it. You know, like what was that film they released there on Netflix? The Italian mafia film, with like Robert De Niro and all that. Like, but he was CGI to look like his 30-year-old self type of thing. So, I mean, there's always that option. You just take a character.
Yeah, but like that does not look good. Like at all. I mean, and yeah, they could do it, but like, okay, so here's my thing. If they want to do it live action, they would have to. I would want them to use people that were in their early 20s when it came out. So
Right.
those people are either 12-year-olds on Disney right now or not famous yet.
Right, okay.
But
Yeah.
if using who I wanted to, did you watch The Pacific?
Yeah, I loved it. Now, I preferred Band of Brothers more than it.
Yeah. I would want the guy
good.
that played Sledge to be Hank. I would want the guy that played Snafu to be Doc.
Right.
I would want Lucky to be Eclair.
Cool.
I would want Karen Gillan or Tessa Violet to be fucking Penelope.
Cool.
I know she's too old now, but like perfect world. Like, do you know who Tilda Swinton is?
No, not off on now.
Did you see Constantine?
Yeah, with the TV show or the film?
The Keanu Reeves movie.
Oh yeah, I loved it. That was deadly.
Okay, you remember Gabriel, the blonde chick?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would want her to be Gladewine.
She do that really well, actually. Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, at the same, like, she would do it now well in the later books, but like when she was supposed to be 23, like a lot of, I guess CGI shit would have to fucking happen to that. But
so. Yeah, good selection. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Also, Craig saying I was on a trip with a few girls from Northern Ireland, could not understand a word of them speak when they sang, was different, understood them. It's meant to do with the parts of the brain all right. So part of the brain you use to sing, spice, speak.
Yeah, kind of makes sense. Yeah. But in all fairness, I can't understand a lot of Northern Irish either, depending on where they're from. So yeah.
So on that, who would you want to play fucking Dublin?
Probably Robert Sheen. You know, he's like an Irish actor. He would have been in TV series Misfits. He was in that film Mute on Netflix. He's been in loads of gear. I can't think of like offhand. He'd be fairly well known kind of over here, and he's been.
Don't you hate that though? It's like fucking. So this guy, he's only been in like 100 movies.
Yeah, and I can think of one. You know? Yeah. But yeah, he's done really well for himself. But he's a really kind of cool actor. I always liked him. He's very kind of expressive, very kind of like he kind of loses himself in it. So yeah, you can kind of see him kind of doing a very good job of it. You know.
No.
If he's willing to shave his head, you know.
I kind of saw him as like a redheaded Tom Hardy.
A redheaded Tom Hardy. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't actually remember if Dublin was fucking redheaded or not, but like, you know, stereotypes work like stereotypes do.
Gotcha. So like you just associate everyone in Ireland with having red hair, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I probably know about 2 red-haired people, you know, in my entire social circle. You know,
well, I mean, if it helps, I think the exact same thing about the Scots. So,
well, when it comes to Scots, yeah.
I mean, they were kilts. I think you guys have bagpipes.
Yeah.
They dealt with the British. They dealt with the English a little bit more, but they still don't like them. So
yeah, not at all. I mean, they tried to leave the UK or like 2 years ago, and they're trying to do it again. So
yeah, which if they do, fucking cool. Great. Yeah.
Be interesting to see. Well, I don't think they'll get the vote because the way their system works, I think they need permission of the Westminster government in order to actually hold a referendum, and the UK government said no at this point. So the way they're kind of pushing it is like because of Brexit with the UK currently out of the EU now at the minute, whereas Scotland and Northern Ireland didn't want to leave. They wanted to remain part of the EU. So it's how it's going to go from there, you know. Complicated.
Yeah, no, but that could have easily been like the United Kingdom's like, you know what, Europe, fuck you, and then Scotland's like, you know what, fuck you, and then like Northern Ireland's like, hey, fuck you, and the rest of Ireland's like, hey, so are you coming back? Like, no, fuck
dude,
you.
That literally been politics over here for like the last 2 years. It's right there. You could summarize that in those 2 lines.
Just the last 2.
Well, I mean, there's not more to it then, but like I think, especially with the likes of Northern Ireland, we've never had so much kind of hype and conversation about reunification in the last 2 years than we ever had. Like when I was growing up, it was one of those things that, you know, there was always that, you know, aspiration that, you know, we could peacefully and democratically kind of work things out and there would be kind of reunification, but it was, you know, it was like a pipe dream. Whereas in the last 2 years with Brexit, with the majority of people in Northern Ireland wanting to stay in the EU, you're kind of seen we've a lot more overlap than we do have differences. So it's a possibility, whereas beforehand it was a bit fanciful. Now it's realistic that within my lifetime that we'll have Irish reunification. But You know, obviously it has to be democratically kind of led, and it has to be based on the majority will of people in both countries. But yeah, it's potential.
Well, speaking of the Irish and your guys' political system, fucking Rory just said what's up in the fucking comments. So hey, Rory, what's up?
Rory Tabara, absolute legend.
Dude,
he's a rising star in the Irish writing scene. I've had a pleasure of reading some of his stuff, and he's brilliant. But yeah, Storm series, wait for that. It's going to be.
I'm waiting for it. Fucking he sent me some things, and one of the things I didn't know was like really a thing. Like, it wasn't like okay, all right, them doing it. It was like I just didn't know. But he sent me a parchment of y'all's like national anthem, which I thought was fucking. This is in a frame. I have this framed up, and then also like a copy of the Declaration of the fucking Irish Republic. Yeah. And he sent me this letter, and I had to look it up later, and I was like, dude, that's fucking powerful shit. Where it's like, all right, hey, I don't remember who the king was of England, but it was like, dear King of England, fuck you. I was like, yeah, we just got similar to that. And then and then I read up and I was like, so they hung all y'all.
Yeah, shut them.
And then I was like, oh, well, do you know what? Fucking still good on you, man. Fucking standing up, man. Fucking
yeah, it was a blood sacrifice, you know. It was one of those things they knew in 1916 it was going to work because most of the volunteers had been sent off to join the British Army to fight for that, you know, the Home Rule Bill, which was set to come in after the end of World War One. So it had a very small minority, but it was more like just blood sacrifice. It's now or never. We have to kind of stand up, you know. So and at the time, the majority of Irish people opposed it. They absolutely despised the 1916 Rising, people who kind of fought in it, because of the sheer level of damage brought to Dublin City. It was only after all the rebels were executed that's when you saw this massive kind of rise in nationalism, which led to the War of Independence. So,
dude, martyrs will fucking take you a fucking mile down the road. Which is there is something I wanted to fucking talk about, like our Declaration of Independence on that. Like a bunch of people fucking signed it, right? But like most people like wrote their name like really small, so like you might misspell it. So like if the English won, you know,
really
that wasn't my name,
deliberate kind of thing.
Similar to that, but there was one dude. John Hancock, and this is where the term "put your John Hancock" comes on.
Yeah.
He wrote it really fucking big, and the reason he wrote it really fucking big was because he wanted fucking King George to know his fucking name.
That's balls. Yeah, fair play.
And it's like, hey, listen, I know that like I own half fucking whatever colony this is, and you know what? There's a good chance I might get hung, and he didn't. He ended up fucking doing whatever. But he's like, yeah, King George doesn't know who the fuck I am.
No, fair play. I didn't know that. Like the other kind of, or some of the other signatories.
Were like,
yeah.
If we lose, that's John with an H.
Right. That's cool, yeah. Because I mean, I've seen pictures of the Declaration of Independence, and I do distinctly remember the John Hancock kind of signature being a bit bigger than the others. I didn't realize that there was people who were deliberately trying to, I suppose, hedge their bets a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because like at the time we were like, hey, listen, so we do kind of have it good under the UK. At the same time, though, like you're kind of pissing us off, so fuck you. But because like if you look at the American Revolution, it started off more as we don't want to leave, but at the same time, like we got to change some shit. So maybe if we just like start some shit, you'll fucking agree to our terms, and then like halfway through the war, which is long after the fucking Declaration of Independence, we're like, okay, so they're not going to change their mind. Doesn't matter that like we've been kicking their ass. Like, and like all we wanted was a fucking seat in Parliament. That's all we wanted.
No taxation without representation.
Yeah, we wanted a seat in Parliament. That's all
for all the 13 colonies. That was it. Just one seat.
Yeah, but we can't have a seat in Parliament. Like, it's not like this is where most of your fucking revenue's coming from or anything. Like,
it's crazy.
No, okay, all right.
I suppose it's probably been done in like alternative history, but like you kind of wonder like what would have happened if if the UK government at the time had have actually granted the colonies the right to representation. Would things have been different, or how they would have worked out? So it's probably something Harry Turtledove has probably written about now, to be honest.
That's guy.
He's got,
by the way.
Yeah, but, I mean, the series he does that replicates like World War I and World War II and stuff like that. It's crazy. It's so good. Yeah.
No, like I don't know that this would be a fact because it's hard to fucking tell with that shit. But I would imagine that if we got a seat in Parliament, America and Canada would probably be the same country right now.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, there might be like a East America and a West America, just because, I mean, you know, stuff breaks up. But like, I mean, or like a what, you know, like is Canada now plus some states, or like plus or America plus some of it in Canada. But like, I'd imagine that America and Canada would have been the same country at some point.
Yeah, I believe that. Actually, yeah, just out of curiosity there, because like I've kind of reading up a little bit like on the likes of like American history and stuff like that. I do enjoy kind of reading it. But is there like a serious kind of like drive, or has there ever been kind of like some sort of pipe dream about Americans taking over Canada? Has that ever been like a thing where you'd just be like, man, I'd love to like just like invade and conquer and
kind of in jest, like not really.
Yeah.
But there are some people that like kind of as a joke, kind of like to say, hey, listen, so we got all these Mexicans hopping over the border, right? So what if we just like annex Mexico and all the countries under it, all the way down to the Panama Canal, right?
Yeah.
And then while we're at it, we just like annex Canada too, and then we just call it America.
That was a philosophy, though, wasn't it? In the early 19th century, they called it the Golden Circle. I think the Confederates or something like that. They wanted to invade Central and Southern America and Cuba and stuff like that. Like, and you know, use all this new amalgamated countries.
That wasn't a Confederate pipe dream. We actually did that, and then we just set up crony fucking republics down there, which has nothing to do with all the fucking civil wars and coups that are still going on right now at all. Nothing. All right,
not even slightly.
Nothing.
Understood.
We had nothing to do with that. All right, we only started it. No, but like fuck, what was the other thing? No, because like, you know, like first off the bat, like Canada's our fucking closest ally. Like a lot of people like to think it's Britain, but it's like, nah, like we don't like there's that stereotype that every time we go to war, England shows up, and every time England goes to war, America shows up. Like that's kind of like a 60-40 thing. Like they did the big ones, but we didn't show up to the fucking Falklands, and then they didn't show up to one of the things we did in the 90s. And when I say one of the things we did in the 90s, like we did a lot of shit in the fucking 90s. It just wasn't like big shit. But Canada showed up each time. And the last time Canada started a war was never. However, we did invade Canada in 1813, I think.
Oh, yeah. Was that the 1812, 1814 war, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then we invaded Canada, and it didn't work. Like we got like 30 miles in, and then they were like, hey, so I don't know what you've been talking to about those English fellas, but they ain't from here, Holmes. You understand what I'm saying, cock? And then they kicked us the fuck out of fucking Canada.
Yeah, and they burnt the capital then, didn't they?
I have a story about that. I have a story about that. I'm going to tell you about the Battle of Bladensburg. Okay, so check this out, right? So everyone likes to fucking say in the fucking mythos that the Marine Corps has never fucking lost a battle. Okay, the Marine Corps has lost plenty of battles. However, every time the Marine Corps has lost a battle, every time before they lost it, they ran out of ammo.
Right.
And let's go a little bit fucking past linear, like the Battle of Wake Island, right?
Right.
Japanese fucking, it was like a day or two after fucking Pearl Harbor. Japanese show up fucking trying to bomb the shit out of Wake. Marines were defending it, and there weren't any aircraft. This was all infantry guys, right?
Right.
The Marine Corps shoots down like 500 fucking aircrafts and like sink like 4 fucking battleships. And one of the ways that this battleship got sunk was there's this dude named Lou Diamond. And he's the guy that Lou Diamond Phillips is named after. He shot a fucking mortar down a fucking battleship stovepipe.
No way.
Fucking sank it. And then a couple days after that, the Marines ran out of ammo. And then they're like, oh, hey, I'm sorry, Japan. I guess you get the island now because we don't have anything to shoot you with left. But going back to the Battle of Bladensburg, so I'm gonna fucking flip some history shit on you. So, do you know who Duke Wellington was?
Yeah.
He was like the guy that beat Napoleon at fucking
the
He was one of the youngest, not the youngest, but one of the youngest prime ministers of Great Britain. Also an Irishman.
Yeah, he was.
which
Yeah.
is really interesting.
He wouldn't have considered himself Irish, but he was Irish. Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't have considered himself. What island were you born on? Sorry, buddy.
Well, it's part of the UK.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, actually, I think Ireland was part of the UK at that point. I'm not.
Yeah. It would have been. Yeah, would have been considered by.
I mean, like, I don't know how consensual it was, but I mean,
not very.
But anyway, fucking these dudes, his 4th Foot Regiment, right?
Yeah.
They get done beating fucking Napoleon, which turns out happened to be about the same time. They get done defeating Napoleon at Waterloo, and they get on boats, and then instead of going back to England, they get shipped to America, which there's some other fucking war going on. So like these dudes are already pissed off because they've been deployed for like 3 fucking years. They're like, hey, are we gonna go home? Can I go see my wife? No? Okay.
No.
All right. So they land in somewhere in fucking Virginia.
Right.
And they have to get across Chesapeake Bay. And there's like one bridge back then because, it's the fucking early 1800s. And they're marching up the coast to get to this bridge. And while they're doing this, 200 Marines, fucking sailors and Marines, are like, hey, listen, the British are showing up. They have to like walk 600 miles around this or they're coming across this bridge. So let's go fucking defend this bridge.
Hell yeah.
So on the way there, they pick up, I think, 600 army guys. But these army guys are all artillery. So they fucking have this standoff on this fucking bridge. We got our artillery and then, Army artillery and like Marine and Navy fucking infantry holding this bridge. Day 1, the British try to come across. We do some 300 shit to them. Nice. Second day, the British try to come across. We do some 300 shit to them. We capture a colonel and a general.
No way.
Third day, the Army's like, hey, this sucks. You guys are on your own. And they fucking bounce.
No way. Just like that. Just gone.
Yeah. So the Marines that are still alive, some of them man the guns. And then the rest of them fight on the bridge. And nothing significant happens besides holding the bridge for the next 3 days.
Right.
But the Marines hold the fucking bridge. And then they run out of ammo. The British come across, kill the fucking Marines down to the fucking last man.
No way.
And they burn Washington, D.C. to the fucking ground, except for the Marine Corps barracks.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And was that deliberately? Was that like kind of like a bit of a nod kind of thing?
It depends on some people like, well, they use the Marine Corps barracks as like a headquarters, so of course they didn't burn it down, but it's like, the Marines held them off for like a fucking week with like 200 guys against the guys that like just beat Napoleon.
Yeah, that's some balls. Yeah.
So the oldest building in Washington D.C. is the fucking Marine Corps barracks. Actually, no, I take that back. There's like 2 or 3 houses that were there, but like actual like government buildings like the Marine Corps barracks is the oldest fucking.
I did not know that. That's really interesting. Yeah.
So we were Marine Corps.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool, man. Yeah, because I mean, like I wouldn't know too much about that war kind of thing. Like, I probably just know snippets and obviously the whole burning down thing. But yeah, that's a really interesting story. I'll have to double check that. Would you say Lou Phillips is it?
Lou Phillips was at Wake in World War II.
Cool. Okay, yeah. And what was that battle called at the bridge?
Bladensburg. It's in Maryland. Also, real quick, my pisser's right there. My bladder's about to fucking explode. Can you feel the conversation? I can still hear you. Can you feel the conversation for a minute? Okay.
Your thing, yeah. No problem at all. So hey everybody, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Damien Larkin, which you can see if you just look right there. So I'm just going to enjoy some more whiskey and chill. How are you? How was everybody? Doing good. Yeah, I'm doing great too. Brilliant stuff. I can't see comments, by the way. I'm just kind of winging this and hoping for the best. I kind of wish, I had a couple of my books on standby that I could just kind of like raise up and kind of talk about or promote or something. But I have nothing. I've got whiskey. That's about it. Yeah. So good times. Yeah. I suppose what else are you going to be doing on a Saturday when you're in lockdown? Have a few drinks, have a bit of buzz, bit of crack. Good times. But yeah, seriously, do check out my books if you get a chance. Big Red, Blood Red Sand. I can't see any of the comments, so if anyone wants to like drop any comments, about any questions or any topics you want myself or Tripp to kind of cover, do by all means. I've got plenty of stuff. I can keep just prattling on for ages and ages and ages anyway, but if anyone has something uncovered, go for it. Can't hear you, buddy. You gone? I can keep talking. Skynet. But yeah, so Big Red and Blood Red Land. Yeah, I can't hear you at all. Yeah, take your time. In the meantime, here's this paid advert from Jameson Whiskey. Smooth, sleek, sweet. Do you recommend checking it? Yeah, I can't hear a single thing you're saying, buddy.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, gotcha now.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Also, there's a button on the right that says comments. Click on it.
Oh, sorry. Oh yeah. Go show. I'm just not. I'm not. Oh, deadly. Cheers, Rory. Checking out.
Dude, Rory. Fucking.
And cheers, Nate. Yeah, good call.
Rory, this is for you, man.
Yeah, Rory the Bar, absolute legend. Great stuff.
Yeah,
as I said before, just
somewhere. Rory, give me this.
Nice, deadly.
It's
good lad.
Yeah, it's from his ship.
Yeah.
I wish I could read this, but I can't because I don't speak Gaelic. But it translates to may the force be with you. Also, since you're Irish and he's Irish, maybe you can explain Samuel Beckett to us.
Yeah, he's just a poet and writer. Good lad. I haven't read kind of much of his stuff now. Or
No. Sam Beckett.
Sam Beckett?
Yeah.
No, I've no clue. Oh. Rory, if you want to hop in the comments there.
Oh, yeah. No. He made a big deal out of him in the letter he wrote me, which, by the way, fucking Rory.
Yeah. He's a great lad. Yeah, if you ever get the opportunity, definitely have him on. I've spoken to him before. He's very cool. Kind of knows stuff and all, And like you said, I'm dying to check out the Storm series, because apparently, allegedly, one of the characters in it is named Damien Larkin, who gets to punch the living shit out of two fascists. So I was like, yeah. So I'll check that one out.
Also, on that, allegedly, there's a character in it who's a self-identifies as an American twin engine attack helicopter. But also, Rory, fucking send me a fucking DM. We'll get you on this.
Yeah, definitely get him on. I'd say it'd be great crack. And I'll be hanging out in the comments here drinking whiskey while it's happening. So
yeah. So anyway, before I left, we were talking about the fucking War of 1812, which is funny because the way that started was so. The British used to do this thing where it's like they would find a ship out on the fucking high seas and they'd capture the ship and be like, "Hey, all y'all are British sailors now. Get on the fucking boat."
Yeah, I heard about that. I think gang pressed them in, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then we were like, "Hey, we done kicked your ass fucking 30 years ago. Do we need to do it again?" And then they were like, "Yeah, let's do it again." And then they, fucking burnt half the fucking country down. Now we won, but I mean they burnt half the fucking country.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, do you know who John Paul Jones was?
I recognize the name. I don't know offhand.
Okay, John Paul Jones. I'm going to tell you about him here in a minute, but before we talk about him, I just want to say that this dude's dick was so big that it had its own dick, and this dude's dick was bigger than like both of ours, right? So, okay. Right? Fucking, he, fucking starts off being like upper class, fucking, like colonial, starts off in the fucking British Navy, and then we're like, "Hey, England, we had enough of your shit."
Right.
So this dude is a captain of his own ship. I think he's like 18 or 19 at the fucking time, like at the oldest 25.
Yeah.
And the American Navy is mostly merchant ships that we just like threw cannons on, and we're like, we're gonna put it by the coast, and like if the world's most powerful navy shows up, then we'll shoot at them because that's all we know how to do. Except for one man, John Paul Jones, who was captain of the Bonhomme Richard, and the Bonhomme Richard is
that was a ship in Smokepit, wasn't it? And like something happened to it a year ago or something. Oh wait,
and we can go into that here in a minute. But the original ship, the Bonhomme Richard, the first one, fucking
yeah,
ship of the line, fucking sail ship. Was one of the few warships we had, and it wasn't even like a really warship. It was like imagine an ocean of destroyers and frigates, and there's like a pontoon boat. Anyway, this dude, fucking, what is it? Oh, I'm sorry. Bonhomme Richard is French for Poor Man Richard, which is a reference to Benjamin Franklin. Anyway, the Bonhomme Richard, fucking, instead of defending whatever port it is, because most of the American Navy, I'm sorry, the American Navy was just defending shit exclusively besides this dude's ship.
Right. Okay.
He fucking sailed to fucking Scotland, right? And on the way up to Scotland, he was doing this thing where like British warship would come down and he'd just like circle around them and shoot them until like they weren't in sailing capacity, and then he'd fuck off. So he goes to fucking Scotland,
right?
Finds this fucking British naval shipyard, and the reason that shipyard was there was because there was still a big forest in Scotland at the time that they were cutting down to make, battleships.
Yeah.
And he burnt it to the fucking ground.
Jeez.
Anyway, he's in the English Channel, and this British ship called the Serapis shows up. And this is like the flagship of the fucking British fucking fleet. And he's doing his little spin around, shoot at him thing. And he's like shooting the shit out of him, and they're shooting the shit out of him too. And while the Bonhomme Richard is starting to sink, the fucking British captain is like, "Are you ready to surrender yet?" And John Paul Jones says, "I have not yet begun to fight." So they throw all their fucking ropes over to the British ship, lash the fucking ships together, and then all the Americans get off the American boat and then cut the lines and let it sink, and then kill all the British sailors, and then sail it to France. And then because France is our ally at the time, like, "Hey, listen, yeah, I know this is coming in under an American flag, and this is the first time it happened, and you might recognize this ship as the flagship of the Royal Navy, but it's ours now."
That's balls. Yeah.
Anyway, this motherfucker, right? The war ends. He goes back to America, and he's like, "All right, so the war is over. There's not really much going on. Napoleon seems like he's doing some shit." So he fucking gets on a fucking boat, sails to fucking France, and goes, "Hey, Napoleon, listen, I'm an American. I don't really fucking believe in what you're doing, but like, I haven't stabbed somebody in like 2 years." So he joins the French Navy and fucks the British up more again.
Jesus.
Not because he hates the British, just because he's got a fucking hate for it. Anyway, Napoleon fucking gets overthrown, fucking, taken out, whatever the fuck you want to fucking say that shit. The French Navy isn't there anymore. So he goes, "All right, well, there's not really going on. Prussia, you're not really doing too much, but like you're trying to do some shit in the Baltic." So he joins the fucking Prussian fucking Navy, sails them for a bit, and then after they get done doing their like little tiny mini war they were doing with either Sweden or Denmark, he's like, "All right, well, that war's over." So he moves to Russia, learns Russian, joins their fucking Navy,
Jesus.
keeps doing their fucking shit. Like this dude, it's like one of those things where like, dude, this guy makes me proud to be an American, but like when you really look at it, like that dude was not doing this for America. He was doing it because he was a stabby motherfucker, and there was people
just like fighting. Yeah. That's mad. Yeah. That's really good. I haven't heard anything about him. Like I heard I'd say probably the British equivalent, Sir Sidney Smith, who kind of I think he was involved around Napoleon's invasion of Egypt, where I think he was part of like Admiral Nelson's task force to try and stop him or something like that. But he was kind of like one of those characters who just, I think he got seconded to different kind of armies. I think it was Sweden and stuff like that. Moved up the ranks and was kind of there at all those pivotal kind of battles of like the Napoleonic Wars during those times, But yeah, that's really fascinating story, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, but anyway, fucking that ship, or I'm sorry, that name of the ship, Bonhomme Richard, Poor Man's Richard, like because of what John Paul Jones did, like. We're rebelling against England. Everyone else is like playing defense. This dude burns their like main port to the ground. Which, by the way, I think it was like 1920.
Right.
That city issued him a pardon.
No, wait. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
But since then, we've always had a name. We've always had a ship named the Bonhomme Richard to commemorate that. And I wrote my first 2 books on. I would love to say the Bon Richard now, but
Yeah.
yeah, it burnt to the fucking ground.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. That was all over the news there. That was about a year ago or
Dude,
something.
that was dude, it was like a couple months ago, and it was like fucking fucked up because it was like at first I'm like, oh fuck no, but then like afterwards, like they put the fire out, and they had the media teams come in and like look at shit. I'm like, I remember doing this right there where that picture's taking. Oh, that place? Yep. No, I did this there. I was like, God damn, dude, because like. You know, a ship's a fucking unique experience because, like, imagine 6 months of your life within a fucking football field.
Yeah,
you know, like you remember every fucking foot of it. It's like, dude, fuck, man.
That's and did anyone kind of lose their lives, or was everyone kind of evacuated?
I don't know if anybody got. I don't know if anybody died. I do know that some people got like fucking like 3rd-degree burns and shit, but like I don't know if anybody died. But like fucking. Goddamn tragedy.
Yeah, it sounds. And are they going to kind of decommission it now, or is it decommissioned already, or what's?
Yeah, no, I read a couple weeks ago that they're going to fucking scrap it because, like, at this point, it's like building a new ship will be cheaper than fixing it. But there will be another Bon Richard.
Well, look, as long as the legacy's still there, I think that's kind of half the battle. You know, the fact that like after all this time that you still have a tradition of naming a ship after a hero like that, like it's good to see. It's good kind of bit to the legacy. So yeah, that's good, and fair play to anyone who gets to serve aboard it,
Yeah. Also, Matt's over here in the comments asking about Master and Commander. Did you ever read that or watch that movie?
I did. I watched the film and I loved it. I thought it was very, very good. I've never gotten around to reading novels, but I loved it. I do enjoy that Napoleonic kind of era type of stuff. And I think I even mentioned before, one of my favorite TV series, starring a much kind of younger Sean Bean from Game of Thrones, Ned Stark, was called Sharp, and it follows an infantry sergeant in the British Army, who basically, after saving Wellington's life, he gets promoted. He gets like a field commission to lieutenant. So it's basically because he's real working class, and back then you didn't have the enlisted, never got promoted up. He's got this. He's a real fighter, like he's a proper soldier. And it follows him kind of working his way up the ranks in the British military during the Napoleonic Wars, and it's brilliant, absolutely fantastic. So if you ever get a chance to have a look at that, it's a sharp, brilliant series.
I've seen a little bit of it on YouTube, a little bit of clips. Like there was the clips I saw was like he was trying to get into the mindset of what they were doing. So he would go to these places that had guns that were used in these battles that were still around. Yeah. And he, fucking like, hey, so this gun was used in this battle. Let's go through the fucking like.
Oh, I remember that. I think that was like on the Discovery Channel or the History Channel. You made like a series years later, but yeah, look, if you get the opportunity to watch the actual TV series, it's brilliant. It's like it was made by the BBC, and I have to say, like for back then, I think it was early 90s, mid 90s, they must have had one hell of a budget because you've like hundreds of British soldiers all lining up against like hundreds of French soldiers and just killing each other and stuff like that. It's great,
No, fucking like first off, Sean Bean is an extremely underrated fucking actor.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
On the other hand, is he Irish or is he English?
He's British as far as I know. I think he's got Irish roots or something like that. Like, but again, like most people in Britain would anyway, and then likewise, there's a lot of kind of intermingling kind of thing. So, but yeah, as far as I know, I think he's from Yorkshire, which is like I think it's North England or something like that. But,
okay. Yeah. But also speaking of the Irish in the British Isles, fucking you've seen Highlander, right?
Yeah, it's great.
My favorite part of that movie was when that crazy Irishman shows up. He's like, "Yeah, back on my island." Oh, that's your island. It's like, no, it's my island.
yeah. There tends to be always like one random Irish character who's just insane and likes to kill people.
Wait. So in England, are the Irish people the token black guy?
In the 70s, yeah. Like there are, I obviously wasn't alive during that period, but like my parents, they'd come from that generation. Like it was a big thing over here, football. So like what you call it, soccer. Football's like the national pastime over in these kind of countries. So you'd have like Irish fans traveling over to the UK to visit. You basically follow their favorite kind of football teams because English football's huge. But there would have been like my father would kind of tell stories about how he'd just be going over on a day trip over to go see Manchester United kind of play, and they'd just be harassed by the cops just because they were Irish. There was even kind of like signs in pubs that said "No blacks, no Irish, no dogs," would have been a big kind of like thing. Now I've never witnessed it myself, and I think it's one of those things that died out after a couple of decades, you know.
Yeah.
But there would have been that kind of level of, you know, I suppose, you know, hatred. I don't want to say hatred, but like, you know.
I mean, no, I'll go along that because like in America, because you know how there's this big racial divide between like, you know, whites and blacks over here, and like nobody gives a shit about the fucking like Mexicans or Asians. But like if you go back fucking like 50 fucking years, Italians and Irish weren't considered white until the fucking 70s.
Yeah, we got that. Yeah. No, it would have been similar. I think like it's one of those things. Like,
I mean, it's not like you guys have the best food or anything. Like, I'm gonna lump you guys in with the Italians on this. Like, there's something to be said about the things you pour in your glass and the shit you fork off your fucking plate. Like,
it's good. You can't be eating out potato. You know, it's good.
Dude, no, fucking okay. So there's this thing over here. I don't know what it's like in Ireland, and you know, I want your fucking input on this because I was talking to one of my buddies about it the other day, where like up north, right? There, like I live up north now. I'm from the south, but like I live up north now. Yeah. There's not any fucking good food up here, unless you go to a fucking Irish bar and they got fucking corned beef and cabbage.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
Like I'm just saying, like I don't know what corned beef and cabbage is in Ireland, but over here, it's like, yeah, this is Irish food. This is also the like kind of the best food that we have over here. But I was just blinking for effect on that one.
Of course, yeah. No, it would have been that's like one of those staple meals. So when I was kind of growing up in the 90s type of thing, like like that's a real what they call a mammy meal, which your mother would kind of make it, you know, like good proper like cabbage and potatoes and corned beef, you know, maybe a couple of carrots, but yeah, it's good, you know. I like it. I think it's like Irish food. It's very simple. It's just down to earth, but and it's got
good. It's like, dude, you boil some cabbage and some fucking butter and throw some salt on it. Like cabbage should not be good. It shouldn't. It fucking shouldn't be good, but it is. Also, fucking since we're speaking about cabbage, and we've been talking about language.
Okay.
So you know, I'm going to school, right? And like as part of the school, we have to take 3 semesters of a language. That
German,
language, isn't it? Yeah, I'm taking German. Or I took German. And that kind of bothers me because different languages have different I guess like lineups with like different fucking career fields. Like so like if you're taking like if I were to major in say Roman history, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to take Latin. I would just have to take a language. So it'd be okay if I took like Russian or Japanese or fucking French or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
But like I kind of think that it should be, hey, if your major's in Roman history, your language should have to be Latin.
Yeah, I can understand that, yeah.
Not the fucking case. I took German because German is pretty much English. Fuck. I had a fucking really good fucking point to make.
And I can see as well you were going to build up to something really, really good there.
Dude, no, I wanted to fucking go there. I don't remember what the fuck it was. But yeah, no, I took German because it's fucking English, and like because like if you roll the fucking clock back a fucking 1,000 years, before English or German existed, there was old German or fucking Teutonic, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And that's where like the English language and the German language, branched off. But like most of the fucking words are the fucking same. The grammar's a little bit fucking different, but like not so much different. Like, how about this? I have an experiment. I'm going to say something to you in German, and I want to see if you can understand what it is.
Yeah, far away.
Here kommt die Sonne.
Here comes the sun.
Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah.
Fucking 75% of fucking German is just saying it in English with a fucking German accent. Fucking fair. But I had a fucking point to make, and I don't remember what the fuck this tangent went off on. What the fuck were we talking about before this?
Does anyone can someone, now that I know where the comments are, can someone kind of
can someone rewind fucking like 5 minutes?
Because it looked like it was building up something really, really epic there,
So we were
joy in your face,
Yeah. What? God damn it! Fuck it. What were we talking about before this?
Sean Bean is about the last thing I can.
That was like 20 minutes ago, man. Shit. Also, real quick on this, we're like 12 minutes away from the fucking time limit, but I am more than willing to fucking violate this if you're down.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll like roll this fucking bitch. Shit. I don't remember what the fuck it was. But you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. We'll talk about some other fucking shit until fucking somebody says like, hey, dude, this fucking thing, god damn it. No, this is gonna bother me. Because there was something between Sean Bean and me going to school.
Yeah.
What the fuck was it?
I don't know. I have no clue. I could just see the light in your eyes. I could see the look in your face. That type of thing,
no. I remember. We were talking about cabbage and fucking Irish food. Okay, so because English and German are so fucking similar, a lot of not all of the idioms,
right?
But a lot of the idioms like line up. Like so, like in English, you would say, I'm walking the dog, right?
Yep.
Now, if you were saying that in German, that wouldn't make any sense. You would have to say, I'm taking the dog for a walk to mean something different, right?
Yeah.
Now, sauerkraut. Do you guys have sauerkraut?
No, I'll tell you, I went over to Germany twice and I had it, but we wouldn't really have it over here.
Okay, but you know what sauerkraut is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. So sauerkraut, it's the food, right?
Yeah.
That the literal translation for that is sour, as in, a sour taste, and kraut is the word for cabbage, right? And kraut is it is derogatory slang for Germans.
Yeah.
Now, if in English you say don't be so sour, kraut, right, as in, hey, German guy, stop being fucking prissy bitch. If you say that exact same sentence in German, it means the exact same thing, because sour means both sour is in taste or sour is in like bad attitude. So, hey, don't be so sauerkraut.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, that's really cool, man. But again, just the goes to show, like, just power of language, I suppose. Like, you have like how it kind of changes over generations and stuff, but still the similarities that are there. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, no, and then like, dude, like fucking goddamn, dude, there's a lot that goes into it. Like, a lot of. Hold on, give me a second. There's a comment I want to get to. And this kind of like ties into it, but so you know how in the British Isles, fucking 1500 fucking years ago, the Anglo-Saxons showed up with German, and then after that in the Norman conquest, a bunch of Vikings who spoke French showed up and like conquered England and divided it all, or not divided, unified it all fucking together, and then like the aristocratic fucking class would speak French.
Fluently.
Fucking peasants would speak fucking English. That's where a lot of our swear words come from, because in Anglo-Saxon, you would take a shit, right, where the aristocratic class would defecate. So defecate is okay, but shit, that's not cool. Also, fucking a person of high class would live in a mansion, and some filthy peasant would live in a house. They can be the same size, but depending on what language you spoke to describe said building is where a lot of English swear words or English language swear words come from in the fucking first place. And they're just like regular fucking German words for what the French would. No.
Yeah. Just because there was a difference, when you kind of lay it out there, it makes perfect sense, because I mean, I think there was a good couple of 100 years where like the rulers of kind of like what we now call England all spoke French, and didn't even understand the English language or whatever the version of it was back then. So yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy how kind of a situation like that can kind of like have such an impact on the English language as we know it now, like 1500 years later, like.
Yeah. One of the other things I think is kind of funny is like there is this like subgroup on the fucking internet that says that I think Henry the Sixth, not Henry the Eighth, but Henry the Sixth, I believe, if I'm remembering my shit right, was the actual first English king, because even though there were kings before him of England, they spoke either French or Latin, and he was the first guy that said, "Hey, listen, everybody in this fucking country speaks this language. Why the fuck am I not writing legal documents in this fucking language? Like, listen, I know that like I might be the fucking, patriarch and the oligarch and all that shit, but like maybe the shit I say and write down, and this might be a radical fucking theory.
Yeah.
Maybe everyone else in the fucking country should know how to fucking read it.
No. Something so simple, but yeah, like I know the king you're talking about. I remember reading that there was one who was distinctly kind of like, hang on a second, let's stop speaking French, or like at least translate it into kind of English. It was even similar, like even up until I think it was like the 1960s, 1970s in Ireland. Like the vast majority of the country would be kind of Catholic, so you had like Catholic priests giving mass, but they do it in Latin. So like people would go to mass every Sunday, you know, kind of without fail, and they'd spend 40-45 minutes listening to a priest, and they've no clue what he's talking about. I mean, they have like an understanding of the different rituals in a mass, but they don't know word for word what he's saying, and they have to actually kind of like get to a point where they started kind of preaching in the languages that the population spoken, you know, instead of like archaic Latin, you know.
Yeah, and there's ups and downs to that, because like on one hand, you would want the people in authority to speak the language that the people fucking speak.
Yeah.
On the other hand, and I'm not saying this is like right or justified or whatever, but like if you have to educate yourself to understand what's going on, granted that's wrong because, you know, fucking I'm going to use this word and take it how you want. I mean, no fucking disrespect, but like the filthy peasants should know what the fucking people are fucking talking about.
Yeah.
At the same time, like if your fucking religion or your fucking like government system is speaking a different language, you have to educate yourself a little bit to fucking understand what's going on. And I mean, there's something to be said about fucking higher education. Like now, granted, I think college is fucking, or university is fucking bullshit. But that doesn't mean you don't ever have to read a fucking book.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it completely depends on the type of government you have. Like, you know, I mean, it's one of those things easy to say, to kind of look back in hindsight and kind of say, well, you know, you damn peasants should have just learned Latin, like, you know. But at the same time, like, I mean, would they've had the resources to do it? Like, would they have the ability or the inclination to do it? You know, and I mean, there's always that kind of like thing. I think you expect, or at least, you know, from my point of view, you always expect the government to do the right thing for you. Which 99% of the time isn't always the case, but there's that kind of like, well, look, we elected them in, like, so, you know, I'm sure it'll be fine, you know, and then
What
things happen.
You know, it's this weird divide because, like, you know, you don't want to like force fucking people to like, hey, listen, fucking get on board or get off, you know, because, you know, hey, dude, let people live their fucking lives. But at the same time, like, I'm not saying that it has to be through like the systems version of what higher education is. But no matter who you are, you should be striving to get as much education as you can, whether it's through school or books or fucking watching documentaries on fucking the Hitler channel. Like you should be trying to be more aware or educated, you know?
Yeah, no, look, I 100% agree on that, you know, and I think that's where it comes and be the example that you want to see in the world. Like, so, as much as you can kind of wish and hope and pray that like everybody else will kind of, you know, capture this common sense kind of philosophy, I think you have to be the change in your community and kind of show people, you know, or kind of like reach out to your friends or your family or people you interact with, and, you know, encourage them to kind of read up or kind of like look at things from different perspectives. And I think that in particular, that's my one. I'd always encourage people to try and see, you know, two different sides to an argument, or look at things from different points of view. And believe it or not, that was inspired by Babylon 5. Fantastic TV series, absolutely loved it. But there was this, I don't know if you've watched it or if you can remember, but at the end of like, it was like the Vorlon Shadow War, Captain Sheridan, Bruce, I can never pronounce his name, was it Bruce Bloxnator or something like that, American actor anyway, but Captain Sheridan, he kind of sits down these two opposing parties who are just destroying the galaxy, just proper, like, because they're the big boys, you know, they're blowing up planets and stuff, but he kind of like has their representatives, so he's got like one Shadow, one Vorlon, and he kind of repeats the mantra that the Vorlons keep saying the whole time, and it's like, the truth is a triple-edged sword, and he broke it down and he says, like, there's your side, there's their side, and there's the truth. So, and that was really kind of powerful. Like, I mean, I would have been maybe 8, 9, 10 when I was watching that. And I just remember it hit me in the head. I was like, that makes perfect sense. Like, you've one opposing view, you've another opposing view, and both of them think they're right and think that there's the absolute truth. but then right in the middle somewhere you have the actual truth, you know. So that'd be one of my kind of contributions to it, you know.
Yeah, no, and like that's I fucking hate Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars for this. That whole like, well, yeah, most of our truths cling to our certain point of view, but it's like, no. In reality, it's like, yeah, no, that's right. No. Granted, his is unexcusable. Like, I'm gonna get a frog to like train you to go kill your dad.
Yeah,
a little bit fucking different. But like in reality, you have what you think, you have what I think, and then you have what actually happened.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And I think that's where I suppose people give into emotionalism, you know, when you have that kind of situation where rather than kind of look at things logically, you kind of give into how you feel about a subject. So if your idea or what you represent as your idea is under threat, you know, you feel like you're under kind of siege. So you're the good guy and they're the enemy, when, you know, and maybe that's true, but like if you look at things kind of objectively, like there's a lot more to any given situation than it being a black and white type of thing, you know. It's not like good versus evil. There's a lot of gray areas in between, you know.
Okay, so I'm gonna tie this back to this real quick, and give me a second. I have a rant to go on. All right, so throughout like 99.9% of like human history, right, there's not really such thing as a good guy or a bad guy. There's these people think this, those people think that, and in their own right, both of them are absolutely fucking correct. Their views about approaching it are just different. That's it. However, you have this outlier that was the Third Reich.
Yeah.
And, you know, hey, listen, fucking, like, Cold War. America does this, the Soviets do this. There's a monolith of ups and downs on both sides. Right?
Yeah.
Now, fucking, you have the conflict between, say, England and France. There's a monolith on both sides. Who's right or who's wrong?
Yeah.
And then you have the fucking Nazis. And it's like, nah, dude. Like, there's obvious fucking good guys and bad guys on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, this is the one kind of scary thing about that type of stuff is like those Nazis didn't think of themselves as the bad guys, and that's the truly horrifying thing. They literally thought they were doing God's work, or, you know, they were trying to advance civilization. And I think that's the lesson that I take from that type of stuff is that you can convince yourself of anything. It's terrifying.
No, and then like fucking so the Nazis were fucking the perfect bad guys.
Yeah,
perfect bad guys, because like there's no way to defend their fucking argument.
Yeah.
B, they had really good fucking military tactics. C, they had really cool shit. Fucking talk about panzers and fucking like jet fighters in the fucking 40s. D, the way they dressed was like, dude, like, look, fucking goddamn, their uniforms were sharp. I'm sorry, they looked good in fucking uniform. But we all know they're the fucking bad guys. However, when you fucking like let the black and white bleed into fucking gray, everybody on both sides after the war were like, hey, listen, I know you did some like fucking horrible, repugnant shit, but I need to know how to make a fucking rocket. Yeah. So we're gonna like ignore the fucking thing you did where you like crucified a bunch of fucking Jews outside of your fucking sweatshop. Can you get me to the moon?
And now you have NASA.
Oh, dude. Tie this back to earlier shit. I had this fucking dream this week, by the way, speaking of NASA. And in the dream, I bought this book, and the book was called like, you know, fucking like Dirty Sluts, fucking gangbang, fucking whatever, right? And I bring it home, and I don't even read the book. I just put it on. I put it on the table. And my wife sees the book, and then she's like, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna go live with my mom for a bit."
I can understand why.
And I'm like pissed off about it, and I'm like, "Fuck." And then like, you know how like dreams like they skip a little bit. You don't know what the fuck happened between whatever. So the dream skips a little bit. I'm at the Pentagon. I'm in the fucking like super secret NASA fucking like section, and I'm breaking into the fucking mainframe to like learn the truth about the fucking aliens. And like while my buddy is shooting the fucking like Secret Service guys that are trying to stop me from breaking into the fucking computer to like learn about the aliens, my wife just like walks in. It's like, hey, so I read Gangbang Sluts 9, and that's a fucking masterpiece of fucking literature. The title is super fucking misleading. This was like totally about like the human experience. And I'm like, so can I like? Can you come home? They're like, yeah, I can come home now. I'm like, all right, let me put this wire in here and this wire here, and then like, let's break out of the fucking Pentagon.
That is brilliant, man. That's brilliant. Turn that into a short story.
Fuck. Yeah. I think people had enough with fuck, what was it? So like, remember when Stockton went to? They were on a port call, and Stockton got those like Buddhist earrings.
Oh, the swastika.
Represented the four winds.
Yeah.
The, knowledge and enlightenment. And then like Chuck was like, do you not know what the fucking swastika is? And Stockton's like, no, it represents knowledge and enlightenment.
I have to say, she was definitely one of my favorite characters from the latter three books. I thought she was brilliant. Like, just proper, just psychopath, like, yeah. I'd love to kind of, I'd love like a little bit of a backstory on her kind of thing, if you're ever looking at short story projects, because she was just badass,
One of my favorite things though is like when people like get to the fourth book and they text me, it's like, hey, so did Thatch dump that Simoon chick and hook up with Stockton? I'm like, keep reading, fucker.
I know. I was the same. I was like, oh man, that's what? How do you pronounce it? Samum, is it?
Samum or Samum, or I don't know how it's actually pronounced. So
she wrecked my head, man. I have to say, like, as characters go, I was one of those, like, just every time I'm turning a page, I'm just hating her more and more kind of thing,
Well, I mean, to be absolutely fair, fucking from the beginning of me writing her, I knew that was going to go Lady Macbeth.
It was good though. Like, it was very clever how you did it, especially like, I think her relationship with Thatch and all that, you could kind of see how it impacted him. But and I think as a character, she was very kind of well done. She's just the epitome of that really, really annoying person who's just so self-involved and kind of like self-sabotaging and stuff like that. But like, they're like constantly flicking like, come on, please die a fiery death. Come on, Thatch, live your life.
Well, I mean, so book 6, for those of you who didn't know, was based off of the life of Blackbeard the pirate, and this guy you may or may not have heard of. His name was Macbeth, and I needed to justify the ending of that book, and I forethought. But also rolling back to some earlier shit. So I'm not a Buddhist, right? But I do really appreciate Buddhist teachings, and I think they have a lot of really good ideas. Like Buddhists, right? And that's one of the thorns in my side as far as living in the West goes.
Okay.
Because if you look at where it came from, the swastika is an extremely powerful symbol, and we should all have that fucking tattooed on our bodies. But some asshole about fucking 80 years ago fucking ruined it for us.
Yeah,
it's like,
apparently it's all over India as well. Like one of my colleagues went to India, or traveled to India, and he said like the swastika over there, it's used as a positive symbol. People kind of would kind of carve on their doors, but there's no kind of like negative conception of it over there compared to over here, given everything that.
And the separation, because like if you really think about it, like the Nazis, that was a European fucking problem.
Yeah,
that wasn't really a world problem. That was a European problem. And then like in the rest of Asia, it's like, oh, so some assholes like way the fuck over there use this. Well,
yeah,
fuck them.
Fuck them,
that's still our thing. And like that's kind of a shitty thing in America because or for being an American, because it's like, dude, like if you look what the swastika actually the fuck means, not what the fucking Nazis did to it. That's kind of I'm sorry, I'm gonna roll this back a little bit. Fucking, it works both ways. That's also like, I'm sorry, that's a really fucking awesome symbol of like everything that could be right with the world, right?
Yeah.
And it's also like perfect bad guy fucking symbol,
Yeah.
It's this weird juxtaposition.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you look at the actual symbolism of it, it's like it's gripping, it's terrifying, So yeah, but I mean, it just goes to show, like some people kind of usurp kind of cultural symbols and just ruin it from the original meaning kind of thing, But even now, like you'd never be able to get away with using it, Even though like it might have originally started as a positive thing,
Yeah. Somebody brought it up in the fucking comments about the Norse shit, because like what was it, like Do you know what the Volknot is?
No, not often.
It's 3 intertwined fucking triangles, and it was Odin's symbol for like, you know, fucking.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen stuff like that. Yeah.
However, in the United States, fuck, there was a word I was gonna use, and it was gonna be witty and cool, but like I'm kind of drunk and I forgot what the word was. But the fucking like white supremacists like adopted it
Fucking
and like
asshole.
use it as their symbol. It's like, dude, that was cool before you fucking. Could you stop ruining shit, please?
Yeah.
Like we got a bunch of like really cool fucking like symbols and like meaning for shit.
Yeah.
And it was cool until you assholes started using it. Could you guys stop? Please.
You know, they just like take things and twist them to their fucked up weird ass worldview. You know, it's just.
Yeah, no, and then like if I want to use it for the original fucking purpose, I'm a white supremacist. It's like, dude. Yeah. I didn't mean this is in a kill the blacks. I meant this is in a. Hey, maybe I'm not saying that Jesus and fucking Odin were the same guy. There's just a lot of parallels. All right.
Wasn't it one of your mates had something similar? Was it Eric Pickle? Didn't he have like a mad Nordic tattoo or something?
Oh yeah, no, but he's fucking owning it. Like he's going hard in the fucking left or right or the fucking appropriate colloquialism. He's like, no, listen, I got this for like religious purposes, and if you fucking dumb fuck Nazis want to fucking say some shit about it, I'll fucking fight you. Also, if you fucking stupid bitch fucking liberals want to say some shit about it, that's not what it is, and I'll fight you over it.
Right. Well, look,
like fucking that dude's standing up for his fucking principles. So
yeah, look, fair balls, yeah. Right to that. Eric Pickle, yeah.
And then also on fucking, since we're talking about fucking Norse paganism anyway, fucking so I know that this might not be fucking glaringly apparent from what I put on the fucking social media fucking apps. I am a Christian. Fucking I do believe, you know, fucking Christ is my fucking Lord and Savior. However, if I die and Odin is there instead, I'm not gonna be mad.
Yeah.
Like, oh, all right.
Like, I mean, Valhalla. It sounds like great crack. It's like every day for the rest of your existence in Valhalla. It's all like drinking and like eating food, and you can kill people, and the next day they're back together again. You all just have a laugh about it, you know.
Until like the last day of Valhalla, where you actually have to go fight the fucking Battle of Armageddon, and then everyone dies.
Right. At least you're going down in a blaze of glory, you know.
Yeah, no. It's not a fucking bad way to go. Fucking like, it's one of those things. Listen, I'm a Christian. I believe in Christ. However, if I'm wrong, I'm not gonna be mad.
Hedging your bets, yeah. Take that.
Yeah.
It does sound like a good way to go, all right. But yeah, sorry, just one of your comments there, like from one of your colleagues, from Nate McCord. Haha, my wife walked in and asks, "Why is he talking like that?" Because he's Irish. Love it.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
No, but you ever listen to fucking Manowar?
No.
There's a band you need to check out called Manowar.
I think I've heard of them. I wouldn't know any of their stuff kind of offhand now.
You need to listen to their fucking shit, because like all their shit is like imagine fucking Conan the Barbarian fucking book, but someone wrote an album about it for like 20 fucking years.
Nice.
But they had this song about heavy metal, and the hook for it was "Wimps and Posers Leave the Hall."
Love it. That's brilliant. Yeah, no, I have to listen to some of their stuff. What is it, like black metal type thing, death metal, or?
Well, actually, there's a difference between black metal and death metal. So, and I'm not educated enough to tell you which one is which.
Right.
I kind of enjoy both, but they're also both in Scandinavian language that I don't speak, so I can't really tell you. However, the difference between black metal and death metal is one is geared towards we have to preserve Nordic tradition,
right? And
the other one is like Hail Satan,
right?
or even if it's not Hail Satan, it's like, so we had this other religion before the fucking Christians showed up, and I know that like Scandinavia is traditionally a fucking Christian fucking place, but there's something before this motherfucker. So, and musically speaking, if you're listening to it and you don't know the language, you can't tell the difference. So
Right.
I'm on that page of I just like the fucking guitar riffs.
As long as it rocks, man. That's all that matters.
Dude, that's the fucking thing, man. Fucking doesn't matter if it's good. It only matters if it's rocks.
It rocks. Yeah, I'll drink to that. Let's go.
Yeah. So since we're on that, fucking, I'm gonna let this fucking conversation. I'm gonna let you take this conversation wherever the fuck you want to take it. But I will start it off with the reason that what we call Thin Lizzy was named that was because of Model A Fords that came over to fucking Ireland, and they were nicknamed the Thin Lizzy because the sheet metal on it was super thin.
Wait, that's really cool. I didn't know that. Kind of like, yeah, that's really cool. I mean, like Thin Lizzy over here is like one of the greatest bands that Ireland has ever exported ever.
Okay, I'm going to stop you on that. Thin Lizzy is not one of the best. Thin Lizzy or Tin Lizzy is not one of the greatest bands that Ireland has ever fucking let out. Thin Lizzy is one of the greatest bands that ever existed. There's a fucking difference. All right.
They are, absolutely. They're just
like I'm not trying to take power away from fucking Ireland. I'm just trying to say that, like, if you release the fucking Borders, like they're fucking Thin Lizzy, motherfucker. All right.
Yeah. Oh, just unreal. Just completely reshaped.
I'm just saying that if fucking something happened and you wound up behind bars, there's whiskey in the jar, motherfucker. All right.
Yeah. Damn straight. Yeah. Like fantastic. Like even the lead singer, Phil Lynott, like he's like a national hero over here. I think it's more kind of like, well, not even more, like he was musically gifted, very talented, fantastic, kind of at everything that he did. He's just badass. Like, but even if you look at the kind of backstory, like he was born to a single mother. His father was a African American soldier who was stationed, I think, in Northern Ireland during World War II. But then he basically, got deployed, never came back, type of thing. So over here in Ireland, for a single mother without like a husband or anything.
Wait, hold on. Did you say he never came back?
Yeah, I don't think he had any connection with him. Now I could be wrong, but like
that's sad. That's sad.
Yeah, his mother raised him alone in Dublin, and back then, which was very fiercely Catholic Church kind of ruled in terms of morals and stuff like that. Like having children outside of like wedlock was like massive taboo, and again, not to kind of offend anybody, but this is the truth.
It's like, we know what's up.
Yeah. On top of that, again, looking at the kind of period, like there was, not only was the child kind of born out of wedlock, it was the fact that like he was mixed race. That was a massive kind of thing, like in Dublin working class areas, not only to be, one kind of parent family, but to be mixed race was a massive kind of thing. It's something he dealt with his entire kind of childhood, and then went on to be the sheer definition of, rock music,
Okay, so on that, like, I don't know if this is going to steer the conversation in a certain way or not, but like, the way that like most Americans look at that shit is we're racist towards black people that are like from here. Right. However, if someone's like, yeah, dude, I'm from Ireland, it's like, dude, you're blacker than the Ace of Spades. Well, you said you're from Ireland, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of this weird fucking like you're only bad if, or we're only gonna have like a whatever you want to fucking like put the fucking like dumb fucking like viewpoint on it. Like, well, you're from here and that's why it's wrong. But if you're a black dude going, wie geht's es Ihnen? Mir geht es good. Oh, I mean, like, he's obviously German.
Different story.
Yeah.
So,
So like, I'm not familiar with that like race issues in fucking like Ireland is what I'm saying.
Yeah. It would have been very kind of backward now. Like, I mean, we still have a lot of work to do, but in the grand scheme of things, I think we're moving in the right direction. Like our what we call our Taoiseach, which is translates as Prime Minister. So it would be, I know, like in America, you have a presidential system, we have a parliamentary system over here, but our Taoiseach is Leo Varadkar, and his father was, or his father's Indian. He married like an Irish kind of woman. His father was a doctor. I think his wife is a nurse. But he'd be considered as Irish as I am. that's where we're at now. Like, he's an Irish person. It doesn't matter. Whereas back then, in the 70s and stuff like that, and the 60s, it was a completely different story altogether. So just like I suppose it's amazing the things that he had to kind of put up with, and then went on to become like a fantastic, like celebrity throughout the world for his amazing music. Tin Lizzy, great band. So yeah, definitely check them out.
Okay, so after this, I have an anecdote, and after this, I do want to go back to music. I really want to talk about music. Sure. But so my German class, right, that I took this last semester, my like, was it Pfizer came up with the fucking COVID vaccine? So the people that made the COVID vaccine, they were in Germany when they made it. However, the couple that made the fucking vaccine that do it, they were Turkish immigrants to Germany, right? And my German teacher went to high school with both of them, right?
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway, after like the announcement came out, hey, listen, there's a vaccine. My German teacher was like, I'm so proud of them because they're from Turkey, but they moved to Germany. And like, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but like in the 90s, Germans started being racist towards other people. And this is gonna be like hey, they got the vaccine and they're Turkish. What do you think about it now? And the only thing I think about was like, I'm gonna raise my hand a little bit this way. And so you mean to tell me that like Germans out of nowhere became fucking racist in the fucking 90s? Oh. I have a hand to raise. My hand kind of goes up. Put your hand down. Yeah. But put your hand down. It's like Germans all of a sudden out of nowhere started being racist in the 90s. Wow. Oh my God, I can't believe the Germans started being racist in the 90s. Holy fucking God.
Shock horror.
Who could have predicted this? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know too much about it. Like, I remember kind of reading up on like German history and stuff, like, past the war and stuff like that. And I think they had like a lot of real kind of like left-wing gangs and stuff like in kind of West Germany and stuff like, so that kind of shaped the political model for a good couple of years. But yeah, definitely seen kind of the rise in the far right over the last like 10-15 years over there,
Yeah, crazy. Well, I mean, like I'm not saying it's right, but it is to be expected. Okay, so just going off of like American politics, right?
Yeah.
So we get a new president either every 4 or 8 years. Like they can do 2 terms. Sometimes they do 2 terms. Sometimes they don't. Trump, fucking original fucking Bush. There's been a few others. Ford, I think, was another one. But there's this fucking like fucked up fucking pendulum that swings with it, where it's like we get a left president. I'm just gonna assume that you don't know the difference between like Republicans and Democrats and all that shit. So I'm just gonna say left.
I know.
So like the pendulum swings to the left, and then the American people get done with what the fucking left's doing, and like push it a lot further to the right than it was.
Yeah.
And then the American people think that's fucking stupid, and then push it a lot more to the left than it was before that.
Yeah.
And then the American people say that's fucking stupid, and then we push it a lot more to the right, and then we push it a lot more than the fucking left. And it's just like like, you know how like if you tap a pendulum, it goes left, right, right, center. We're doing the exact opposite. Like started like we never started center. It was like always back and forth. But like over the last like, I don't know, 70 years, it's been like a lot more right, a lot more left, a lot more right, a lot more left, a lot more right, a lot more left. It's just like, dude.
It seems like it's gone extreme. But just to go a quick one for you, buddy. I'm quite happy to keep talking now for a little while. Are you okay if I just hop off for a minute?
Oh yeah, you gotta fucking hit the head.
Yeah. Just give me 2 seconds, right? Cheers, buddy.
Oh. All right. So wow, fucking Damien's gone. I'm gonna go ahead and fucking pitch his book, Big Red. Okay, so he's got this other book, Blood Red Sand, and Blood Red Sand isn't coming out until July. Now, I had the privilege of fucking reading this because, you know, I'm a fucking beta reader and I'm cool. And I've even got the fucking, like, oh, fuck, what the fuck does it say? Review copy, not for fucking release or fucking whatever. And I'm not going to talk too much about that. However, in Big Red, pretty much what happens is there's this fucking Irish dude that was in the Irish military, and he fucking gets out of the Irish military, and he's kind of like bumming around, not fucking really doing shit. And some dude shows up and goes, "Hey, do you want to be part of like the military?" And he's like, "Dude, I was already in the military." He's like, No. The UN military." He's like, "The UN doesn't have a fucking military." He's like, "No, the UN military on Mars. We're gonna go to Mars and we're gonna fucking like do shit on Mars." And this dude's like, "Dude, fuck yeah, I'm in." Mostly because, you know, he's got like a wife and kids that he's got to fucking, you know, feed. And they like do this like weird shit where it's like, you know, they take your brain and like they send your fucking like thought bubbles into a fucking robot that's on fucking Mars doing all this shit. And, you know, he goes and he fucking fights this war. And then, like, after the war, he gets disillusioned and then does a lot of other fucking, a few dumb shits, and then gets locked up in prison for like 20 years. And then, like, you know, is in prison for fucking 20 years. And, like, that's his own fucking story. Also, still in Big Red. But in the entire time, because of the way the fucking time space fucking displacement goes, like, this guy's, like, gone for, like, I think, like a day and a half on that. Also, fucking goddamn fucking, since I was talking about Big Red,
Yep.
While you were going, I was talking about Big Red. The way that the fucking displacement works is, I have a question, and you don't have to answer me. You do not have to answer me. You have to answer me on here. You do have to fucking direct message me the answer.
Okay, that's a deal, yeah.
Okay, so Dublin, like, what the fuck is Dublin's name? Lachlan?
Lachlan, yeah.
Lachlan, yeah. So, so far in the series, he's spent like what, fucking 40 years on fucking Mars. He's been gone from his wife for like what, 36 hours.
Yeah.
At the end of the series, does he just like go back to his fucking wife?
You know, in theory, he could. You know, like entirely from his perspective, or it's more probably from her perspective. I think at the end of Big Red, or kind of going into Big Red 2, he's been missing about 3 days, so there is potential for that, but a lot of stuff happens kind of in between. So I think at the end of
well, yeah, no, a lot of stuff happens for him, but like there's this whole other side story where like his wife was like making eggs, and then her husband didn't come home for 3 days. It's like, why is he answering my fucking text messages? And then he shows up like, "Hey, Rebecca, what's going on?" And then she's like, "Where have you been?" He's like, "I've been drinking with the lads down at the pub."
Well, I think in the story itself, he had a kind of set that he was going off for the weekend. So he got the application to join the Mars Occupation Force. I think he flew out on a Friday. And I think it's in chapter 2, or it's I think it's chapter 2. And he mentions that he flew out to the UK, touched down on a Friday. He had to go to his interview on a Saturday, and it should have been done by Saturday night. So she was kind of expecting him home Sunday. But obviously, what happens at the interview kind of changes everything. So from her perspective, I think, you know, she thinks everything's fine. It's only when the Sunday kind of arrives and she doesn't hear from him, kind of thing, and she hasn't got a text off him, and that's when it kind of kicks in. But, you know, within that time frame, a lot of stuff kind of goes down. So I think part of what I wanted to do in Big Red 2 was kind of explore, you know, basically what happens next, you know, the aftermath of it all. And like, again, without giving any spoilers, like there's a certain kind of ending to Big Red that gets picked up in the new story, and we kind of have a look at, you know, about his missus and about his child, and kind of, you know, what happens next. You know, I can't really go too much into it because I don't want to, you know, for anyone who might be considering reading, but I can direct message you, no problem. I'll give you a full walkthrough, have it all worked out, you know.
Fair enough. Also, Rory said, both for Suburb, it's brilliant to find a new writer who you really enjoy, and it's even better to find out that he's only getting started. We have decades of Danger Man Larkin for his fingers or nubs.
Yeah, decades. Absolutely right. Yeah, I want to keep going with
Hey, Damien, look at me. Decades.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. like I've enough stories, you know. Like I even find that like every time I do a big red kind of related project, I'll kind of try and do something different. So I'll write a story or a novel or something like that's not set in the universe, no connection to it, but something about writing in the big red universe. I just get sucked into it. I really genuinely care about it. You know, something that's been rattling in my brain for years. So I'm happy and kind of dedicated to doing it. So yeah, decades. No problem. Until I get that multi-million-dollar movie deal type of thing, you know?
So, they end up making the fucking Bed Reg movie, starring a 50-year-old Ethan Hawke.
If he can do an Irish accent, that's fine with me. But yeah, but he has to do a decent one. Because I don't know, did you ever see Sons of Anarchy? Do you know the American TV series?
Bits and pieces. I didn't watch it all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, there's an entire season where they're dealing with the IRA and they have to go over to Northern Ireland and stuff. And it's basically every single actor who was Irish was American and did like a terrible accent. And it's just, you know, well, you know, I swear this on my Catholic God, I'm going to do this, that, the other. And it's like, nobody talks like that, man.
So speaking of that, fucking like I started a TikTok like last fucking month, and like I'm doing pretty well for myself on that. Like I'm just shy of 1,000 followers for starting, 5 weeks ago.
Nice.
But I don't know if you saw us on fucking Instagram, but I got a notification. Hey, the Irish Republican Army started following you. I'm like, I don't think that's the actual IRA, but I mean, I'm flattered.
Yeah, some dude sitting in his room.
Well, I go to his page and he's got like no posts, and I'm like, okay, well, it's just somebody using it for clout. But at the same time, I can say the IRA's follow me on fucking TikTok. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, it's brilliant. And how you find it? Like, is it good as a platform? Because I've like heard like a lot of people kind of talk about it and stuff like that, but it's just
it's good if you're consistent. From what I picked up, you don't even have to have like quality content. You just have to like post a lot. And by post a lot, I mean like maybe 3 posts a day. And they just be like, hey, I'm cooking some eggs. Hey, I'm typing. Hey, this is what I think about this. And then like it'll navigate you to your fucking follower fucking base, I guess. Although I will say that like their algorithm for like what shows up in your fucking feed is a lot different, because you have like 2 things. You have like people you follow, and it only shows you people you follow, and then one that's like the for you, and the for you is like shit people you don't follow, but like if they could be interested in. And I'm not sure what the fuck I clicked like on to do this,
right?
But my like for you page is almost exclusively far right black dudes.
What the fuck? No way.
And then like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so like I have my certain political beliefs, and I don't vote for either of the major American fucking parties. I vote fucking third party almost exclusively. There was one dude that I voted for who was a Democrat.
Right.
The last election, and that's only because the Republican that was in office pissed me the fuck off, and it was like, okay, all right, so fuck you, I'm gonna vote against you.
Yeah. But
it's this weird fucking like thing, because like I don't know how you guys view it, but like in America, when we look at it, the alt-right is a bunch of fucking like pasty white dudes, right?
Right. Yeah.
But if you look on the internet, it's almost exclusively black dudes that are like pro-Trump.
See, I've heard stuff like that, like and even I've seen like a few kind of like African Americans at kind of like Trump rallies, but I would have thought it was more predominantly 95% kind of like
yeah, no, the people that go to rallies are all fucking white, are mostly fucking white. However, his actual fucking like, if you look at it like non-objectively, like, hey, listen, I'm gonna like throw away what the fucking news tells me. I'm just gonna go off fucking whatever. Like, there's almost nobody that I've ran across. I'm sorry, there are a few. Like, but when I say few, I mean like 5 white dudes that are pro-Trump that like I know. Yeah. All the rest of them are fucking black.
Right.
And it's just like one of those weird things. Like, so the news is telling me that like Trump's this fucking racist and wants to get rid of all the fucking black people, right? However, 99% of the Trump supporters that I know are black dudes. Also, kind of fucking weird. Like, and I'm not defending Trump on this. There's this weird thing where Trump gave a lot of money to fucking the NAACP, which is like the fucking, I'm sorry, I'm drunk. I can't fucking think. It's the fucking organization for like, fucking underprivileged.
Oh yeah, I recognize that acronym.
Yeah, and like Trump has given several awards to fucking prominent black leaders like Al Sharpton or like Rosa Parks. The whole fucking bus thing. As to where Joe Biden has literally, and fucking Google this shit by the way, has given eulogies at funerals for fucking KKK members.
Really?
Yeah,
it's mad. Wait, who did he give a eulogy for?
I'd have to Google it. Fucking give me a second. I'll fucking pull it up.
Because I know, like, I remember hearing that, like, wasn't he something to do with civil rights or something like that? He initially vote down civil rights or something, or
name Robert Byrd, and I remember the rest of the story now. So the way that the fucking like mainstream media will fucking screen this, and the thing about this is like I don't know how it is in Ireland. However, every major news outlet in America is propaganda. It's either propaganda for the left or propaganda for the fucking right.
We have it over here. Yeah.
There's no fucking middle ground. It's like you're gonna do this or you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
But this guy named David Byrd, he was a fucking Klan leader.
Jesus.
And Biden was a good friend of him and gave a fucking eulogy at this dude's fucking funeral. However, if you share that on Facebook, it'll give you the fucking like fake news, fucking like fact check thing. And it'll tell you that David Byrd was not the leader of the KKK. He was only the leader of the Alabama chapter of the KKK. And it's like, oh, there's the fucking difference. Yeah. There's a difference. Okay, I get it. It wasn't at a fucking national level, but still Grand Wizard guy.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like, racism doesn't take a day off. Like, it doesn't matter where you're from. Like, that's mad. I'd never heard that now, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a bit crazy.
No, fucking American politics are fucking like bullshit. No. And on this, I would like to clarify that like I am not defending Trump on this. I vote for Trump either fucking time. But I think it's extremely unfair the way the media fucking treats him, considering what the other side has done.
I think there's both sides, are kind of guilty stuff, and obviously I'm the outsider kind of looking in, so it's not like I can offer any kind of mad opinions on the subject, because again, I can only see what I'm kind of reading about or kind of going about it, but like, I think
what my advice for you on this, for trying to decipher shit, is everything Trump said about the Democrats is 100% correct. And everything the Democrats said about Trump is also 100% correct.
Yeah.
Like there isn't a good guy in this. Like, they're both fucking assholes. And like a good amount of Americans are like, dude, can we fucking stop? No, we can't stop. We have to go with this or that. And like, it's bullshit, because like on one side, it's like, hey, listen, maybe we think healthcare should be a thing, but that makes us fucking like queers. And then the other side's like, hey, listen, maybe you shouldn't tax us so much, and that makes us Nazis.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I suppose, like, I mean, our political system, it's very different. We're parliamentary based, so to us, it's kind of like, there isn't like one left wing and one right wing. There's different parties on different ideological divides.
Which is like how it should be, but like America,
yeah. I suppose I have trouble wrapping my head around how polarized it is. So like, you only have two parties, and like you've said it yourself, you've got like third party candidates, but realistically, you're never really going to see any of them.
Realistically, third party doesn't exist. Yeah. Like, I would like to think that it does, but it doesn't.
Oh yeah, like, I mean, in terms of representation, I'm sure they're like on a regional or kind of state level, you probably have like third party, like representatives, independents and stuff like that. But just in the grand scheme of like government and stuff like that, there, I doubt you're ever going to see a third party or independent candidate as president. So I mean, to me, that means that you're locked in these two political philosophies that are only going to get more and more polarized, rather than kind of looking at like the middle ground, seeing what you can kind of come together on, and I know, I saw a documentary about it a while back. There is kind of like Republican and Democratic congressmen, I think you call them, who are like, you might have like a left-wing conservative and a right-wing Democrat, and there's a lot of overlap in their political philosophies, who can actually band together and get stuff, pushed through the Congress and stuff like that. But it's how it's polarized. I just,
but you can't do that though, because if you are on one side of the political spectrum in fucking Congress and you have an idea that just so happens to align with the other fucking side of the fucking aisle, you're a fucking traitor to your fucking party, and we have to ostracize.
Must be tough. Yeah, that's got to be tough. Like in terms of like running a state, like it'd be one thing if it was a third world country or something like. But when you have the most powerful democracy on the planet, like in the most powerful militarily and economically, in terms of like strength, it's got to be tough.
And that was like a big thing with like I'm sure you paid attention to where fucking like there was like fucking rednecks fucking storming the fucking Capitol fucking building.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I think that that should have happened. Like, we should have totally stormed the Capitol. Right. Over the fuck something else. Like, could have been not over. Like, could have been over like healthcare or like the endless fucking wars where we're sending Americans to die over fucking some other asshole stock going up, or like, I don't know, maybe COVID response or the fucking Patriot Act or some other shit. No, it's got to be over this. Okay, cool, got it.
Sure. It was a crazy situation,
But the other thing to it is like our defense budget is approximately 11 trillion, but you can't do Capitol building, like.
Yeah, it's like isn't the American kind of military budget like it's higher than the next 7 countries or 8 countries or something like that? Like
it's 70% of our total budget.
That's insane. I think that was a message that resonated throughout the world. And again, like I'm in Ireland here in Europe, like, and the outsider looking in, but we were just kind of shocked because I can't fathom that type of situation like happening here in Dublin. I couldn't. I mean, we've had protests outside of like the Dáil, which is our kind of like our house kind of chambers. But the idea of it being stormed and there being like no reaction for like 4 hours and all the guards just kind of standing aside and just crowds of people come through, it's just like I couldn't in the worst case scenario I couldn't imagine that happen. And then seeing that happening in the capital of America, I mean, which, like you said, you have this massive military budget. It's like, what the hell am I watching? And I watched it live. I couldn't believe it. I just stuck on TV after kind of work, stuck on the news, and it was everywhere. And it's like, is this like how? I suppose is the big question. It's like, how could that have happened? So it's crazy.
Yep, got 11 trillion fucking dollars for fucking bombing the rest of the fucking planet, but we can't defend one fucking building. And there is something I do want to say about that is like the news will show you that the cops just let them in. However, there is a lot of dudes like that I follow on Instagram and like TikTok or like live streaming it, and the cops are like belt-fed rubber bullets in these fucking people, and like just like tear gassing the fuck out of them. And then like the cops are doing their fucking job, but because of the political bias in the fucking United States, they're like, well, they just let them in. It's like, okay, so they just let them in, and then why did the crowd disperse? Because the governor said there's going to be a curfew, and everyone that's here after this time is going to be arrested. So they just said, oh, well, if we're going to be here after this time, we're going to be arrested. So they just went home. It's a weird thing where it's like, okay, first off, this should not have fucking happened in the first place. But secondly, if we're going to demonize them for being fucking violent rioters, they went home when a curfew was implemented.
It's a weird, it's like this paradox, I really like, and I can understand, like, well, not that I can understand, but I mean, I try and see things from their point of view, and they're looking at their kind of candidate, and they believe that, like, that he's been robbed of his, next presidential term. So, I mean, I can try and see that anger from their point of view and stuff like that, and they want to invade, and they want to stop it, and they want to do all this. Like, it's crazy, It really is. It's a mind-boggling situation that I never thought I'd see in my lifetime,
Yeah, no, it's kind of like the fall of Rome, but I get to watch it on fucking Facebook.
Exactly. Like that. That's why I think the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. Like I remember that seeing that broadcast on TV. I remember like being in school, coming back and like watching that happen, watching those initial battles happen. It's crazy. It's just
Actually,
a
real
weird kind of
quick, how just for my reference, how old are you?
3, 4.
Okay, so you're like a year older than me. So yeah, we're about the same fucking.
Am I older than you? No way.
No, I mean, like I was born in November of '87.
All right, 86. Wrapping it.
No, but speaking of that though, fucking, I have a domino effect, fucking funny fucking conjunction for you, right?
Okay.
So way back in the day, right? The Romans, they built their roads to fit a chariot, right?
Yeah.
And their chariot had, fucking 2 horses, which was 4 feet 8 inches across, right?
Yeah.
And because of all the roads the fucking Romans built, they'd ride their chariots on them, and like their chariots would build grooves into the fucking roads.
Yeah.
And the rest of Europe would build their carts and other chariots to be able to drive on the fucking Roman roads. So they would build it the same width, 4 feet 8 inches, that would drive in the fucking grooves. And because that became the standard width for, chariots or fucking carts, that eventually rolled over into the railroads, right? So
okay, yeah.
All railroads are 4 feet 8 inches because of these grooves in the fucking roads that the Romans fucking dug into it.
No way.
And then because of that,
yeah,
when we built our railroads in America and we built our tunnels to go through mountains, with the fucking railroads, they had to be certain specifications to fit that, width. Now, when you look at a space shuttle shooting into outer space, right? You got a space shuttle, that big white thing it's attached to, and then like the fucking those reddish orange things on the fucking side. The reason that they're only the size that they are is so that they can fit through tunnels on railroads, to fit through it, because you have to, like, they don't build the shit the same place to shoot it off into fucking outer space. Now, on that, the reason that the space shuttle is the size that it is because the Romans decided this was the width of a horse's ass.
Okay. It's mad, isn't it? The parallels.
Domino effect, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I think that's what civilization is. It's a bunch of like a collection of random practical ideas that work and just morph and evolve and just, continue. There's that continuity.
There's no independent event.
Yeah.
Right.
As much as the ancient aliens people want to believe.
Cheers, buddy.
Oh yeah, cheers. Clink. Jemison. If you're watching, still looking for sponsorship deals.
Which, by the way, we've been harassing them on Instagram. We need to harass them on Twitter too.
Yeah, agreed. And I'll start doing it on Facebook as well. Like, so, because I mean, I could definitely get on board with this. Yeah. Jameson's sponsoring us to chat every 2 or 3 weeks, like from 2 different countries. Just have a couple of drinks and just banter. Yeah.
Which once again, I would like to fucking kind of illustrate a point here. Fucking hey, listen, fucking excuse me, sorry. Historically speaking, America and Ireland has never had any fucking beef.
Yeah, that's true.
However, we've also had no fucking reason to be fucking friends. On the fucking third hand of that, fucking we you and me have no reason to fucking have beef, but we have no reason to be fucking friends. True. But at the same time, like I'm just saying, there might be a certain fucking company,
exactly.
Good whiskey that might unite the fucking nations. Jameson, give me a goddamn sponsorship.
Yeah, I mean they should sponsor maybe the UN as well. Maybe resolve all kind of world problems in a couple of weeks. Give them enough Jameson. I'll just chill, get our chat on.
All I'm saying.
End of world wars. Could happen.
Although on that, fucking not to go down the fucking I don't want to say political fucking spectrum, but the fucking foreign relations spectrum, fucking as far as there not being any fucking more world wars, thank God for the fucking nuclear bomb, because if there wasn't fucking nuclear weapons, us and Russia would have gone at it a long fucking time ago.
I think they would have found something else,
Yeah, no, we would have destroyed them. Like us and Russia would have just been like, hey, listen, you're not us. Fuck you, or burning your shit to the ground. However, we both have loaded guns pointing towards each other's heads, and maybe don't act like an asshole right now.
Yeah. Well, again, I always like the take they did on the Watchmen. Did you ever see that kind of film? I think it's DC, is it?
I watched The Watchmen. I read the comic The Watchmen. Both great. I didn't see the TV show though.
Brilliant, man. One of the best TV series I've ever seen. And like, I'm not big into kind of graphic novels type of thing, you know, even when it comes to superheroes, like, what kind of like some of the superhero films, but Watchmen TV series, absolutely mind blowing. I thought it was very kind of clever how they kind of captured, I think they tied into a lot of the racial unrest happening over in America now at the minute. And kind of linked it with some historical stuff, and then just had superheroes on top of that, you know. But one of the things about the film, I think it struck me was just how America and Russia had nuclear weapons, but America had that additional deterrent of like Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah. Effectively,
you know? And it just made things worse. So even though they had like that slight advantage, it kind of nearly led to like the obliteration of humankind. So, when it comes to nuclear weapons and stuff, like, I understand the deterrent side of it. I always kind of wonder, it strikes too much as World War One type of stuff. The whole like the system of alliances that they had between the Allied and the Central Powers type of thing, and that just blew up. So.
Yeah. Okay, so some Serbian dude shot an Austrian guy. So me as an American has to go to France to fight the Germans.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird one, But
yeah. Although I will say that, like, out of them fucking, I don't know if this is for better or the fucking worse, but World War One,
right,
is extremely to the fucking brink, fucking romanticized. I don't know if this is for the good or the fucking evil of it, but like when you say romance, if it doesn't have to do with fucking character A and character B trying to make their way about their life in fucking whatever city, like when you think of what romantic actually means in the fucking literature sense of the term, like World War One was like one of the most romanticized fucking things that ever fucking happened.
Yeah, we're
gonna go fight the bad guys, and it's funny because like in World War One, the Germans weren't the bad guys; they were just the other side. In World War Two, yeah, absolutely the fucking bad guys. Like no contest on that. Like, but in World War One, it was like Empire One had a beef with Empire B, and Empire C decided I'm in. And then Empire 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 were
just kind of in, and it was just a complete free for all like that.
Yeah,
it was definitely kind of crazy. But like, I mean, I think I even mentioned it to you like in one of our last chats. I've been addicted to this the Great War podcast. It's like I'm literally up to. They've overrun the, what do they call it, the general the line, the German defensive line, in 1918, the Hindenburg line.
Real quick, keep talking. I can hear you.
Cool. Yeah, so they've literally just overrun the kind of Hindenburg line, and it's absolutely kind of crazy. But one of the things I kind of liked about that kind of podcast series was like it's week for week you're getting these general updates on the actual war itself. So it starts off in 1914, and it's it's going to be over for Christmas, and then it just gradually builds into these higher and higher and higher kind of levels of like death and destruction. As these different powers find new and creative ways to kill each other, and it's kind of like this, this modern kind of generation meets this, kind of like old school thought. Like they still kind of had like the concept of using cavalry charges, but they've also had the development of like machine guns and kind of gas warfare and stuff like that. Like so, as a podcast series, definitely recommend anyone who's kind of into history or kind of like wants to kind of learn a little bit more about the past to check it out. It's the Great War podcast series on YouTube, and it's phenomenal. I'm more kind of shocked at myself for only finding out about it now, like years after it's been done, and it's crazy when you see like the sheer like horror of what an average frontline soldier went through. And you kind of look at like what kind of soldiers we're kind of go through now when they're on operations. But I mean, can you imagine what it was like in the trenches, with like, like all the diseases that were rampant, you're like dealing with trench warfare, just crazy. And even I think I picked it up off you, Tripp. You mentioned Storm of Steel. I actually read that book there a while back, and it's just crazy.
Dude,
it's unbelievable.
It's a horrifying book because, like, this dude goes through so much fucking shit, and like when you look at it, like you're sympathizing with the character. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, because back in that fucking day, Yeah, like the Germans weren't the bad guys, just other fucking people.
Yep.
My favorite thing about that book though was when he was whatever the highest rank is that isn't a non-commissioned officer. Like he does something stupid and has to go like dig through the minefield with a fucking pickaxe during a firefight.
Yeah.
But what you're saying about the fucking Great War or fucking their podcast, they also do all that shit on fucking. They have a YouTube video for every one of those fucking episodes.
Yeah, that's what I've listened to on YouTube. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, but what's great about it is every one of their episodes talks about stuff that happened 100 years ago to the day.
To the day, yeah, and that's what makes it so kind of real, you know, because you're sitting there listening to it or watching it or whatever, and it's 100 years ago that it happened, and it's crazy, you know.
Dude, beautiful fucking show.
Yeah.
Hold on, what is going on in the comments? Rory said, I have a half-written novella about the alternative history where Churchill and Hitler meet in the trenches. They seem to have served in the same part of the line, according to some. Now, okay, so I'm gonna cut you off on that, Rory. Fucking at the time, Winston Churchill was the Secretary of the fucking Navy or whatever the.
Didn't he volunteer or something? He tried to volunteer for frontline after Gallipoli. I think he tried to enlist as a private soldier as opposed to an officer or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Or journalist or something.
But during Gallipoli and before it, like he was the head of the Department of the fucking Navy, as to where Hitler was a corporal in the German army. And fucking so there's this thing about Hitler. People like to fucking talk about shit. Like for all of Hitler's shortcomings, you cannot call him a coward. He had two versions of what we call a Medal of Honor. I don't know what it is, and I think the Victorian Cross in England. I don't know what.
Yeah, I think it's just German. What do they call it, the Medal of Valor or something? Or,
I
know the one called the Iron Cross, isn't it?
Yeah, but he had two of those. And I'm not saying Hitler did not have shortcomings because he fucking did. But at the end of the day, and that's one of the reasons I don't like people fucking comparing Hitler to Trump or Trump to Hitler, because Hitler was in a trench fucking pulling a trigger. Trump
Bone Spurs, wasn't it?
Yeah, Trump was a fucking draft dodger. You can say all the negative shit you want about Hitler or Trump, but yeah, hey, dude, at least fucking Hitler fucking tried. I mean, like, I'm really not trying to defend the Nazis right now. Like, I really don't want me to come up.
Okay.
But I mean, in World War I, Hitler was an enlisted dude, not a fucking officer, an enlisted dude running through the fucking trenches, pulling fucking triggers, getting shot, fucking doing his fucking part for his country, as to where Trump didn't have the fucking balls to fucking even enlist as a fucking admin fucking position in our fucking army. And that's one of those things where it's like, dude, listen, fuck, I do not want this to sound like I'm defending the Nazis. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but I'm not defending the Nazis.
Right.
Hitler was on the front line with a fucking gun. Please do not compare Hitler to Trump, because Trump was a fucking draft dodger who couldn't fucking nut up and go to fucking Vietnam. All right. All right. Like, unpopular fucking opinion. I'm just saying that fucking Hitler had a little more balls than fucking Trump did, and Trump is too much of a fucking pussy to fucking be compared to Hitler. Just fucking saying. All right.
Noted. Your stance is noted.
No, it's kind of like fucking comparing. Let's pull some other ones. Bill Clinton to Napoleon, right? Bill Clinton, also a fucking draft dodger, didn't want to fucking conquer Europe, or I'm sorry, there was that Yugoslavia shit.
Aside from that, though,
didn't have the sack to fucking do it as an enlisted guy with a fucking gun before he decided to become a fucking politician. Yeah. So I don't want you to take this the wrong way.
Right.
And I'm going to preface this by saying I am not supporting Nazis when I say this. All right. Hitler had the fucking balls to be a fucking private in the fucking army.
Okay.
All I'm fucking saying, all right? Listen, fucking, I'm not talking up the Nazis. I'm just talking down Trump, all right?
Makes sense, yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Also, I do have to say this, not to you, Damien, but to my followers on fucking Facebook, because I've lost a lot of fucking followers for the fucking last week.
Really?
Because I vote third party. Also, I'm looking at the camera when I say this. Look, I didn't vote for Trump in fucking 2020. I voted for Joe Jorgensen because I think the ATF can go fucking suck a dick. In 2016, I voted for fucking Gary Johnson because Hitler's a fucking. I'm sorry, not Hitler. God, I'm sorry about that.
Hitler the brain, man.
I'm sorry. I'm on a fucking rant. Trump is a fucking New York fucking Democrat fucking liberal and only switched to the Republican Party to fucking like conjure votes. And Hillary Clinton is the biggest cunt on the fucking planet. And you're a fucking dipshit fucking voting for either the Republican or the Democrat Party. They're the two heads of the same fucking snake. They're both trying to eat you. And the only reason that they don't eat you is because you're paying tribute, which just happens to be taxes, and taxation is fucking theft. And if you wanted to fucking storm the Capitol over literally anything the fuck else, I'd be down with that. Like, Damien, I don't know what it's like in Ireland, right? In the United States, depending on who you are, somewhere between 30 and 50% of your wages get forcibly removed from you for fucking taxes. And if we were to fucking storm the Capitol over, I don't know, that, I'd have been like, well, I got to delete my social media. I'm sorry, baby. I love you. I'm gone.
Yeah.
But
I totally get it. Yeah. For all the reasons to like invade like the capital of your country, like it does seem a bit mad, you know, like, well, at least from as I said, like I'm the outsider looking in, so this is I can only reflect my own kind of personal experience and stuff like that, you know. But it does, you know, of all the things that you could kind of like smash your parliament up over, it does seem a bit crazy. But again, at the same time, you kind of have to look at things from all sides of the coin. I'm sure, you know, they genuinely believe what they believe, like, so I can't fault them for that. I can fault them for illegal actions and, you know, committing crimes against the state, you know, which I think a lot of them are starting to be arrested now, you know.
Yeah, because these just fucking took selfies.
Yeah, which is, you know, probably point number one, if you're going to ransack your own capital, like, wear a mask, you know. Let's don't make it a political thing, like cover your face, like do it right, you know. But yeah, like, I mean, I'm just saying, if I was going to invade it all, like, I'd definitely wear a mask, you know, just because I wouldn't want to go to prison for smashing up my capital. But
yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of crazy times and stuff, like. So let me ask you, like, where do you kind of see things going from now? Like, 'cause obviously, like, I mean, I've read up on stuff, like, I understand, you know, the point or I like to think I kind of understand the you know, points of view from the Trump camp and the Biden camp. But like, where do you see America now over the next couple of years? Like, yeah, I've seen like a lot of conservatives say, you know, it's going to be a socialist republic, which I don't, you know, I can't fathom how that's possible. But I mean, where do you see it as an American? Where do you think it's going to go over the next 4 years?
After Obama, we took a hard swing to the right.
Right.
Now, I do believe that into the fucking Biden thing, we're going to take a hard swing to the fucking left. Yeah. And after that, we're going to take a hard swing to the right after that. It's just a fucking never-ending fucking pendulum back and forth.
Do you mind me asking, like, where do you, like, what does that mean to you, though? Like, when you say hard swing to a left, like, what do you see happening over the next 4 years? Like how was your life going to change? How was the life of your state going to change, or your country?
I see massive fucking tax increase. I see massive fucking infringement on fucking personal rights. I see fucking, like, just like everything that could go wrong with fucking individualism. Fucking also, okay. Fucking Mallory, come here. This is my wife.
Oh, this is the lady wife.
This is the lady wife.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Absolute pleasure. How are you? I hope you're keeping well, and happy Christmas, happy New Year to you.
You too. Thank you.
That's brilliant.
Pizza. Wait, where did you get pizza?
You got pizza?
What the fuck do you mean pizza just appeared? Say something for me. Okay. Hey. I'll be putting sometime. Okay. All right. Bye.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Sorry, you know, good wife. I have a good wife. I have a really good wife. Fucking, and by when I say that, like, fucking, I'm sorry to just derail the fucking conversation a little bit, but like, being in my 20s in the fucking military, I don't know anybody that got married. I'm trying to put a caveat into this. I don't know anybody. Actually, no. I know one person, two people. I know two people that got married before they were 25 that are still married when they're 30.
Getcha.
So I played the long game and didn't get married until I was 30.
Look, like as long as it's paying off, buddy.
Yeah. So
happy days.
I don't know where the fuck she got pizza from, but
still, I'll take that for your pizza.
Yeah, fucking right. Yeah, no, but like in America anyway, fucking like you got your fucking like two sides of the fucking spectrum where I'm sorry, in rhetoric, you have two sides of the spectrum, right? So in rhetoric, the Democrats are all about, you know, fucking like peace, love, and everybody getting along, and we gotta like stop the wars, and we gotta get rid of guns, and we gotta have fucking healthcare. And then like on the right, it's like, you know, rhetoric wise, it's like, hey, listen, we gotta stop taxing people, and we gotta be about small business and like get rid of the monopolies. But if you look at the fucking voting record and what people actually do, like both of them are, we're all about big business. We're all about fucking nuking the fuck out of everybody. Fucking like, fuck your fucking rights. All around, fuck you. Yeah, it's all around, fuck you. Yeah. Both of them are fucking like that. However, people will vote one side or the other based off of whatever party says on fucking Twitter or fucking TV. And Americans, I don't know fucking why. I'm just guessing we're fucking stupid. But they're like, oh no, we're gonna vote for this person because they said this. It's like, yeah, they said that. What did they vote for though?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna vote for Joe Biden to get us out of Iraq, even though like he's been all about. He voted for invading Iraq, and then while he was the vice president, did the fucking surge where instead of having 20,000 people in Iraq, we bumped it up to 500,000. He's changed now, though. He's changed now.
Yeah. So it's kind of like more voting for the philosophy as opposed to the person and their kind of principles type of thing.
Yeah, no, but it's fucking stupid as shit because fucking like their philosophy is not what the fuck they do.
Getcha. So it's like a sales pitch.
Yeah. No. Yeah, exactly that. How about this, Damien? If you vote for me, I'm gonna make everything the color green.
Oh, well,
and then you vote for me, and then I make everything fucking red. But because while I'm making everything red, I say on Twitter that it's gonna be green, you still keep fucking supporting me because you only pay attention to what I say on TV or post on Twitter instead of like actually look at what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, look, that makes perfect sense. You know, I mean, I've seen kind of a lot of stuff that like I can't wrap my head around it. It just seems more kind of counterintuitive. You know, you hear a lot of stuff and you see the exact opposite. So it's very it's weird. That must be mind boggling. You know. And again, like, I mean, we have that like level of corruption over here in Irish politics as well. So it's not like it's just a US thing. I think most of democracies have it to, some degree or another. So it's certainly not, just isolated. It's right across the board. But I think it's because America has so much fascination for the world because like traditionally, it is the most dominant kind of world military and economic power, and it's shaped kind of like Europe and the world culturally a lot. Like it's crazy when you kind of see it almost step back. Like, I mean, I think I'll give the NATO example as probably the best one I can think of. When President Trump kind of criticized the NATO countries for their expenditure, like they weren't spending like 2% of GDP, or I think it was GDP.
That, like, I agree with them on that. It's like, hey, dude, listen, why the fuck is the United States paying fucking like 95% of fucking NATO's bills?
Yeah, it was a fair point, and I think it was a fair point even when President Obama kind of brought it up like a year before. Like, and a lot of I think comes back to this kind of complacency that, like, in the Cold War, because America was so adamant about like resistant communism and the rollback theory and what did they call it, the domino theory or something like that. If like Eastern Europe was already under the USSR, that they were going to move into Western Europe, and from there we'll go to the UK, and from there we'll go to America. So it was all about like drawing the Iron Curtain in West Germany. So because of that, like because there was so much American investment in terms of military budgets, I think a lot of the NATO countries just didn't really pay much attention. It was just always assumed that America wanted to foot the bill, and then when it came around that they were like, no, well, we all kind of agreed to this. I think now I could be wrong, but as far as I know, it was President Obama in his last year of term, like his last year in office, kind of raised it up and was like, "What the hell are you all doing? Like, come on, 2%." Like, I mean, I think it was Germany at the time was only doing 0.8% or maybe 1.2%.
Yeah, no, and like that's my big
Yeah.
fucking gripe is like, okay, so like NATO exists because we're afraid of Russia, right? Okay, so on this, like, we're gonna like spend so much of our fucking tax money to defend Germany from fucking Russia, and it's like, hey, Germany, look, I know that like you guys haven't been doing your shit the last hold on, how long ago was 1940? We know that you're more than capable of building a fucking military. Why don't you
take over Europe?
Huh?
Yeah. But I mean, I think a lot of that was a breakdown in communication, because it was like, I mean, the general kind of perception over here, in Europe, and I have to say, like, just again, for the record, Ireland's a neutral country. We're not a part of NATO. We're affiliated with them, but we wouldn't be a part of that kind of like defense pact. But a lot of it was just like, the Americans like want us to spend more money. Like, what? They were only so happy to do it. It's not like it was kind of. It didn't seem like it was communicated like that they wanted the European powers to kind of start paying more. So that's why it was a bit of I think it was a shock in the European kind of like media kind of
So how
the expectation.
How dare Europe defend itself?
Yeah, it was literally that. I was like, but Americans always wanted to do that. Like, they love doing all this stuff. They love sending their troops over. Yeah, go and send over. It's great for the economy.
I mean, yeah, we like being the fucking heroes, and we like coming in like sticking it to the fucking Ruskies. But like at the same time, it's like, hey, listen, I don't know if you paid attention to fucking history before like 1940. Europe kind of fucking held their own. They can do it again.
Yep. And I think it just comes back to like after World War II, when the European powers were just in a state of collapse, like, and America just filled the void and stepped up and became the world power to push back against America or against Russia. And there's always been that assumption there. Well, like, the Americans are doing a great job. Like, I mean, they certainly helped Europe out in World War II. So let's just leave them do their thing. Let's totally resist international communism, and just leave them do their thing. And then out of nowhere, well, not out of nowhere, but it was probably a long time coming, but it was like, start upping that budget, and everyone was like, what? You want us to spend like money? Like, and it's like, that's what you agreed to like 60 years ago. So start doing it.
Okay, so there's this English guy, right? And he meets this German chick at a bar.
Right.
And he's flirting, fucking whining and dining this fucking German chick. And he takes her back to this German chick's apartment, and they start making sweet, sensual fucking love, right? And they start off slow, but eventually start putting some friction into it, and they fucking start moving faster and faster towards fucking climax. And they're both stuck in this fucking eternal state of ecstasy, right? And then right before orgasm, this American guy comes in, kicks the British dude off, comes to this German chick's face, and goes, "I won!"
Brilliant. That is brilliant. Yeah. No, yeah. I like that. That's a good story.
And that's the basic synopsis of fucking both World War I and World War II.
Yeah. Yeah, there does seem to be that, all right. Like, that's what, like, I'm not British. I'm not even remotely kind of affiliated or anything like that. Like, but there does seem to be that whole kind of like romanticized kind of relationship between like kind of Britain and America, especially
like Britain and America, we had our problems, and then like after we kicked the shit out of each other, we were like, yeah, you're cool, and the British were like, yeah, you might be cool too, and then like we ended up being bros, which is like one of my favorite fucking things ever is when America does something stupid and anybody from England criticizes us, and it's like, hey, where do you think I learned it, Dad?
Exactly, yeah. Even July, your Independence Day, July the 4th of July, they call it, like, again, it's tongue in cheek, but they call it Colonial Traitors Day now. Like, you see all the memes pop up,
you fucking ungrateful fucking
ungrateful colonials. How dare you lead the empire?
No, but I just think it's fucking rich.
Yeah.
Anytime America does something and the English or the British fucking criticize it, it's like, I'm sorry, where do you think we learned it?
Yeah. It's a definitely a fair point. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, like in terms of like your relationship with them, like and stuff like that, did you ever serve with any kind of British soldiers or anything, like when you were on deployment or anything, or did you ever have any interaction?
Yes. And I will tell you one of the funniest things ever. Turns out the Scots fucking hate it when you refer to them as English.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I mean, like, it's not they're fighting.
I can think of a couple of guys. Yeah, go on.
But it's like, hey, fucking, you guys are English, right? No, we're Scots. What's that flag you got flying there? It's from the UK. Okay, right. Got it. Sure. Fucking, back when I was on my fucking first pump, I was kind of flirting with this fucking English chick. And we were over there in July, and we're having a movie night because national holiday for us. And I was like, "Hey, we're gonna go watch this movie. You want to go watch this movie?" She's like, "What's this movie?" I was like, "It's called The Patriot. It's starring Mel Gibson." She's like, "What's that about?"
It's great film.
She's like, "What's that about?" It's like, "It's about Mel Gibson being a colonial American killing a bunch of fucking British dudes. You want to go watch it?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay."
Really?
Do you want to go like make out instead? She's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to my tent." I'm like, "God damn." I don't know why an English chick wouldn't want to watch a fucking
like I mean that's a popular film. Like it doesn't matter what country you're from. Like it's still great. Like I do remember when it came out that there was like British historians were going on like kind of news kind of channels saying it was like factually incorrect. And
also, real quick, bye, Rory.
Oh yeah, Rory.
Peace
out.
So
After pleasure. Iowa, Ricardo.
Wait, hold on. What is that word? I don't know those words.
He's saying good night.
Oichemaith.
Iama.
Iama.
Yeah, he's saying good night.
Oh, good night, Rory. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So.
Yeah, Iama, Ricardo.
Iama.
Close. We'll get you a couple more whiskeys. You'll be doing a few.
I'm trying, Damien. I'm trying.
That's all you can do, pal. But yeah. Like I mean, I find it surprising that like anyone be upset over like The Patriot. Like that's a fantastic film. Like I don't think it matters like what country you're from.
Well,
like,
I mean, if it's the 4th of July and we just blew up a bunch of shit to say fuck Great Britain, while we're on the same fucking Fort Observation, he's like, hey, we're gonna bullshit. Why are you bullshit? Because fuck you. It's like
at the same time, you have to leave the past in the past. Like if you're still upset over something like 250 years ago, like it's I think there's a time and a place. I mean,
there's a time and a place, and those places are called holidays.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just live it up. It's nothing. It's just a day. I remember kind of seeing like some like English nationalists get really, really upset and stick up like posts about like British people celebrating the 4th of July. Because that is a thing. Even over here in Ireland, when it comes to the 4th of July, this is pre-coronavirus, but you'd have like all the pubs would stick up like American flags, and they'd be all like they might change up the menus to like American food,
okay,
fries and all this.
I'm going to stop you on that. Most the largest demographic in America is actually ethnically German. However, culturally wise, like we come from this place called fuck England. Now, and I have a lot of English friends, and I fucking love them to death. Also, Diane,
they're great. Oh, she's brilliant.
Love your comedy's fucking great, and I fucking love
she
you.
is absolutely.
Also, by the way, fucking, I'm gonna plug Diane Spencer right now. Fucking, if you don't know her, you should check her out. She's fucking a comedian. She's absolutely fucking brilliant. My personal favorite fucking comedian. I'm sorry, Dan, if you're watching this, you come in second place. But on that, there's something that the Americans and the Irish have in common. And it's not the fucking drinking of the Guinness. It's not the drinking of the fucking Jameson. It has nothing to do with the corned beef and hash. It's fucking England, motherfucker.
Damn straight.
So I can't imagine why the Irish would be happy about a holiday that's centered around, hey, fuck England. I don't know why the fuck you guys would think that was cool.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah. There is this kind of like ingrained thing, like whenever kind of like England does bad at something, you're kind of like privately happy. You don't make it a big deal about it, but there is like, that's That's unfortunate.
It's like, we're friends now, so I'm not going to say anything terribly bad. I'm just going to say, oh no.
Yeah. Like the Brexit thing, like I think it's kind of like it's definitely unfortunate that they left the EU, and all the benefits that are there within it, And I'm not even a big kind of like EU supporter. Like I'm glad that my country's part of the EU, but I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But just even when they left, it was mind blowing. It's like what he's doing, it doesn't make any sense. You've got like a bunch of trade deals. You can travel to any country in the EU. Like I can literally hop on a plane and just go like to any one of the member states, no issues at all, and I'm protected by those rights. So why would I want to give them up, And then you kind of see them kind of leaving, and it's this tinge of like, okay, first off, that doesn't make any sense, and then they've left, and then I think it was the number one headline in the UK the day after they left was like about and again, I'm just gonna have to like spell this one out a little bit, like, but it was an article in one of their big kind of newspapers called The Star, and it was a fella who owns a business for, and I quote, sex arses, right? Which is like a sex toy, which is like just an ass, but he was basically saying that 10,000 sex arses were now trapped in France because of Brexit, and he voted for Brexit, and he was upset because he couldn't get his 10,000 sex arses to the UK.
Okay, so 2 points on that. Like first off, like I watched Brexit, right? And I don't really have a strong opinion either way because I understand both sides of the fucking argument. And it's not that's not my shit. That's not my shit.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you guys want to leave, cool. If you guys want to stay, cool.
Yeah.
Deal with it. But I saw both sides of the argument, and I think both sides had perfectly valid points.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
On the other hand, what you just said, that does kind of rise a stir because historically speaking, so the English and the Irish, they have their own fucking discourse throughout history. We'll say that they had some troubles. On the other hand, English and the French also had some
Jesus, yeah, they did, yeah.
And it's like, wait. So if there's any part of the argument where there's some British person defending something because it might offend the French, it's like, okay, listen, I don't have a dog in this fight, but just going from like what I know, if there's an option to say fuck France, you should be on the side that says fuck France. Like,
there's definitely a segment there, yeah, absolutely. There is that.
I mean, I'm gonna be on the fucking Irish side of the fucking Irish versus the fucking English, but I'm gonna be on the English side of the English versus the fucking French. It's just the fucking thing, man. I'm sorry, man. Like,
I get it. Yeah.
Fuck 'em.
Yeah, oh, that's
I'm going into that fucking completely oblivious. And when I say oblivious, like I'm gonna have to admit to you, I'm completely ignorant on this. I have no idea what the fuck the history of Irish-French relations are like.
Fairly good, yeah. Like I mean, they aided us during our 1798 rebellion, which is actually inspired by your own kind of War of Independence. I think it was the fella who surrendered at Yorktown. Is it? Can't think of him. General. He was the bad guy in the Patriot. He actually led the British general. He had the two big dogs.
Okay, so that dude, Cornwallis.
That's it. Yeah, Cornwallis. Yeah. He actually crushed the 1798 rebellion we had here in Ireland. Obviously because it was like supply lines in terms of reinforcements were a lot shorter than the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay, but, so like I'm not gonna say there's a correlation here, but like It might have turned out that like he kind of went into the Americas as a fucking amateur and then learned his lesson. And he was like, okay, so the Americans did this. They're trying to do this. I learned my fucking lesson. Let's hit it this way.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think we had less kind of firearms compared to the War of Independence. A lot of it was fighting with pikes. And it got off, like the 1798 rebellion got off to a fairly good start in the grand scheme of things. Until they just got pushed back by like military discipline and kind of like I I think in terms of firepower, just couldn't stand a chance. You know, I mean, it was Irish peasants just fighting for freedom, and just didn't have
There's
the
one of,
army.
like, weird justifications I fucking think about between like America and fucking like Ireland. Like, so like we had like one revolution. Like you guys only had like what, 12, 13?
Yeah, it's we had a system where it was every generation has a rebellion against the occupational state. Like, so yeah, it was like every basically 25 years to one degree or another, you had some form of kind of action, I suppose, you know.
Which also, I know we talked about this before, but I'm going to bring it up again.
Sure.
I think that the Irish are way too polite with labeling things.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're going to call this thing the Troubles. Oh, really? You had some trouble. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. Just some trouble. That's all you're going to fucking boil this down to. Some trouble.
For 40 years of like sectarian violence and terrorist warfare. Yeah, trouble.
No. It's just some trouble. It was just some trouble.
Troubles. Just how we do it. I don't know.
Way too polite about that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think it's just part of our thing. We don't really like making a big deal of stuff. Like even World War II, like we were an independent nation because we were literally only like freed from the UK for about 20 years before that. Like, so we stayed neutral during World War II because like the way we, you know, the mindset at the time was our country's partitioned. There was 6 counties that are like part of the UK, so there was no point going to fight alongside the UK. When the belief at the time was that, like, you know, they were occupied kind of counties. So we refer to that entire period. So basically World War II in Ireland is known as the emergency, when there was just large scale kind of like mobilization of Irish soldiers to resist Nazi invasion. But there was also like what they called, I think, Plan W, which was the possibility of a British invasion of Ireland to prevent the Nazis from kind of invading. So yeah, the emergency, that's what we call it.
Also on that, I'm not wishing this happened.
Yeah.
But I would like to read a novel about the alternate history if the Nazis did invade Ireland.
Dude, I'm great minds. I have a plot there.
Yeah. I don't want it to have happened. I just kind of want to know what would have happened if.
Oh yeah, to be honest, I was thinking about it as well. Like right before I started writing Blood Red Sand, I kind of had thoughts about doing a novel based on that exact situation, and it was to coincide with, like, you know, Operation Sea Lion, when the Nazis basically invaded, you know, or planned to invade the UK. They drew up kind of plans for what they called Fall Green, or like Operation Green, which was the invasion of Ireland. So I kind of like said, right, because like I'm an Irish science fiction author, and I obviously tend to have a lot of like Irish oriented kind of themes in my books. I wanted to do one specifically focusing on that kind of thing. So yeah, well, hopefully if I can get time, I'll get it together, but plot it out.
In my head, what's going on is that scene, the opening scene from Saving Private Ryan, right? But yeah, Nazis coming to the fucking beach in Ireland, and they take the beach, right? And then they start moving into Ireland, and then in the distance, there's mandolins playing.
Yeah, I like it. Because I think it would have been something similar. Like even I was like, even I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I was reading up on kind of plans for what the Irish contingency were for the German invasion at that stage, and there was different kind of like battalions around, but like I think they were kind of focusing on the Germans invading Waterford, which is down the southeast of Ireland, which relatively kind of closer to France than any other kind of part of the continent. So
there's this whole island between y'all and France.
The UK, yeah, but that's more kind of like over to the east, but it's more like diagonal kind of wise, you know. So it's like that's where they envision it. It was either there or kind of Cork, which is down at the very south. And I think the plan was to let the Germans land and then hit them. But even then, you know, it completely depended on the state of the German forces, and I think they were numbering at something like 15,000. I think was the original task force. So I mean, the Germans would have landed. You know, they probably would have had a bridgehead, and then the Irish would have counterattacked. But without kind of British or American support, it was, you know, 50-50 how it would have went. And then you had the IRA.
Okay, so like I'm gonna roll out some fucking like egregious fucking stereotypes right now. I want you to deal with me. All right, just
okay.
let me play this out. Right, so
I can do that.
the Nazis land in fucking Ireland, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like rocking Ireland's shit. Like Ireland is getting fucked in the fucking ass.
Right.
And then they get up to fucking Cork. And there's this fucking pub, and there's just like, I don't know, like 6 to fucking 12 dudes that are like too drunk to die. And then there's the Nazis have machine guns, and then these 12 dudes from fucking Cork have fucking broken Jameson bottles and win it.
Yeah. I believe it.
And it's like stab you with a broken whiskey bottle. German guy dies, but all of his blood funnels out through the fucking broken bottle.
That's a good idea.
And they're just in the background.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's not even a fucking like it's not even the Irish win. It's like 6 to 12 Irish dudes are just too pissed off to die.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally just sum up the entire War of Independence as that sentence, like just a bunch of drunken Irish people, just don't want to die.
Once again, something we have in common.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking a bunch of Americans too drunk and pissed off to die.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. No. So there's this thing, fucking, and it's January, so I don't feel that we're out of the fucking realm of talking about Christmas because this is a Christmas story at its fucking heart.
Sure.
You know that painting of George Washington, and he's on a boat and they're crossing a river to go fight?
Yeah. It's a really iconic one. Yeah.
Do you know what the story is behind that?
No.
They weren't going to fight the fucking British at all. So the British, when they were fighting us, they actually paid a bunch of German mercenaries to fight the war for them. Right. So any American fucking revolution fucking battle you look at, there's a 50-50 chance of either us fighting the British or us fighting Germans that they paid to fight us.
Right. Yeah.
So that painting of George Washington crossing the fucking Delaware, this was back in the day when you didn't fight on holidays, you didn't fight on weekends, you didn't fight in the fucking winter.
Yeah.
They crossed the Delaware on fucking Christmas Eve to go fight a bunch of fucking Hessians, which at the time Hesse was a state that would eventually become part of Germany. And the Hessians were all like, hey, dude, it's Christmas. Let's get fucking drunk and let's have a fucking party because it's winter. It's the fucking weekend. It's a holiday. Yeah. We don't fight in the winter on the weekend or the fucking holidays. And George Washington crossed fucking Delaware, parting it like he's fucking Moses, fucking parting the fucking Red Seas going, hey, listen, it's winter. It's the weekend. It's a holiday. They're all drunk. Let's go stab them to fucking death. So they cross the fucking Delaware into fucking New Jersey and just like murder the fuck out of a bunch of fucking Germans, which, by the way, were Germans hired by the fucking British to do shit. But it's like, hey, it's Christmas. We're partying. We're having a good time. And then a bunch of Americans go up and go, hey, listen, I know it's Christmas and it's a weekend, it's a holiday, but like, what do you think about my fucking knife?
That's the way to do it, though. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's how insurrections kind of work. Like, is when you fight not on the enemy's rules, but you fight against your own, or you create your own kind of like conditions to win. Yeah. And that's really very kind of clever leadership. Yeah.
Yeah. So from now on, when you see that painting, it was on Christmas. That might as well have been fucking Santa Claus.
I think that's brilliant. Like, I have seen that picture many a time. I just assumed it was just one of those propaganda kind of posters. I didn't know the background for it. So that's really, really interesting.
That's one of the few things that history plays down. Because, like, if you look at history, George Washington crossed the Delaware and fought the British and won. Yeah. In reality, it was fucking Christmas. And we were fighting mercenaries that the British hired and stabbed them to fucking death. Yeah. And by the way, in that battle, like, there was like no fucking what you consider honor. It's like everyone's passed the fuck out from being drunk. Knife.
Yeah, well, yeah. When it's war, that's just the way it's supposed to be. I think wasn't that what the Vietnamese did in the Tet Offensive, wasn't it? There was like a truce, or there was some sort of like cultural truce or something like that. And they just overwhelmed.
Yeah, like lines, New Year's and Christmas and the 4th of July, like all rolled up into one.
And they just like, I mean, everyone, I think the American forces just assumed, or okay, well, look, there's been no fighting over the last couple of years. We'll do the right thing, we'll just chill. And they just bam out of nowhere,
Yeah. One of the things though that I do think is fucking funny about that though is so during the Tet Offensive, right? That was going on, and like that was like the first war that was like on TV, right?
Yeah.
The American media said that, hey, listen, we lost Vietnam because of that, even though the war still went on for like fucking 5 or 6 years after.
When was that, 66 or something, was it? Or
68. But the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong fucking did their shit on that. What people leave out on that though is over the next 36 hours, we completely destroyed the Viet Cong. And the rest of the war after 1968 was fought exclusively against the North Vietnamese, not the Viet Cong. Right. We completely destroyed the Viet Cong, like took out an entire branch of the fucking military.
Just wiped them out, like.
But because fucking Walter Cronkite got on fucking TV at fucking 8:00 at night and said we lost the war in Vietnam, then that's where like the populate.
Is that where you see the tipping point is? So like when he basically got on, because I'm familiar with that clip, but you reckon from that point on, that's where kind of like the morale kind of broke a little bit in the civilian population type of thing?
Yeah, no, absolutely. However, it's kind of weird because the media portrays that battle as an absolute loss for the Americans. However, it was like one of those shit sucked for the first 6 or 8 hours. And then we did some rock star shit against them, like destroyed an entire fucking, ideology over the next 20 or 48 hours. But because of the way that people caught it on camera and portrayed it to America, then we're like,
See, I mean,
I'm not saying we should have been in Vietnam in the first place because I don't think we should have, but it's one of those like, so we're here, something happens. We are rock stars, but like we're doing like Motley Crue shit.
Yeah.
But the media portrays us as if we're Nickelback.
I get the point.
Yeah,
absolutely. I wouldn't have considered that at all because I mean, from what I've read about the defensive, it wasn't just a case of like like you see in Full Metal Jacket where they're all just kind of chilling. You've got like Joker and like fucking slagging. What you call them? I've seen it in Smokepit. Is it Pogues? Is it? People who aren't frontline infantry or something like.
Oh yeah, Pogue. Yeah.
But you have they're all kind of chilling, all this, and then just all of a sudden they all just come rushing through the barricade and stuff like that. But I think as an offensive, it went on for at least a couple of weeks, kind of thing. I think initially they got, there was good advantages from the North Vietnamese side, and then the Americans kind of pushed them back. So I think there's the perception that it was a loss, but I wouldn't have considered that as
Yeah. No.
Like,
That was back when war was hard. Fucking. There are going to be other wars in the future where like war is hard, but like as much as I like to think I had a bad time in Afghanistan, every time I read about something that happened in like I don't know Vietnam, Korea, World War II, anything like that, it's like so I'm a bitch. Got it.
Right.
I mean like. Because like fucking there was this dude William Cafaretta he was like in his fucking sleeping hole in fucking Korea, right? And then like a regiment of fucking Chinese dudes fucking showed up his position. The guy in his fucking foxhole got fucking killed. So this dude takes that dude's ammo and just like lays down fucking fire, right? Just like holds off fucking whoever. After he runs out of ammo, fucking the Chinese are throwing grenades in at him, and he's using a fucking rifle as a baseball bat to like throw him back, right?
No way.
Well, since he was sleeping, he was in his underwear and got fucking like whatever the fucking frostbite version of third degree burns is. Like this dude
Jesus
lost his feet because of this, right?
Yeah.
Not because they got blown off, but because during the battle he wasn't wearing shoes and the ice did frostbite to him.
Oh,
this dude single-handedly held off a fucking regiment.
That's insane. That's some balls, like.
But fucking the ice got to him. We were talking about something before this. Fucking holding off shit. Fucking fuck. What? Damien, get me on the line. Get me on the line. Get me on the line. Get me on the line.
Okay. Last I remember.
No. Hold on. I know what we're talking about. Like, I think I'm cool because of the shit I did in Afghanistan. But then, like, I read about other shit. It's like, oh no, I'm a bitch. Got it. Once again, this guy William Caffaretta, fucking holding up a regiment by himself. He ran out of ammo 4 hours before the assault ended.
That's insane.
And it's like, okay, so like I shot a couple guys. I'm cool. This dude ran out of ammo 3 hours. Over the next 3 hours, held up a regiment by himself, and it's like, oh, so I'm a pussy. Got it.
Like, in all fairness, that's one hell of a story. Like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like we all like to think we're cool. We are cool. We are cool. We're cool. But at the end of the day, there's someone infinitely more cool than either of us.
To do stuff like that, like, yeah, I mean, Jesus, like, I mean, the mental fortitude of facing down like a regiment on your own, you know, without ammunition, like, that's horrifying. That's, you know, any normal person would be scared witless. Like, I'd love to know the mentality of the person who's kind of there batting away fucking grenades with his rifle. Like, that's because he's no like ammo left. That's insane. It's crazy.
There's this other guy to tie this back to Starship Troopers, right? There's this guy, Dan Daly. I forget why he got his first Medal of Honor, but his second Medal of Honor, it was during the Boxer Rebellion in China.
Yeah,
and he was holding this bridge, and first wave, him and his team hold off the fucking bridge. Second wave, everyone dies except for him, and he's holding the machine gun. And this is like in fucking like 08 or maybe 12, like using a fucking Vickers gun, right?
Yeah.
And holds off like 5 or 6 fucking waves of Chinese. Like whatever fucking wave it is somewhere between like 12 and fucking 15. He runs out of ammo, and it's just him, and he charges the bridge against these fucking Chinese hordes, and is like beating Chinamen to death with his fucking helmet, right?
Yeah.
It's second Medal of Honor for that. Third Medal of Honor, he doesn't get, right? He gets nominated for it, but he doesn't get it. There's this battle, the Battle of Belleau Wood. It's in France. It's like one of the Marine Corps' like biggest fucking like
yeah, I've heard a bit about it, yeah.
It's like him and his fucking like company, because at the time he's like the senior enlisted. He's a gunnery sergeant, so
yeah,
the enlisted guy that's at the top layer of a fucking company, right? And the Germans are like straight up like, I got a machine gun. Hans, how's your machine gun? And Hans is like, well, my machine gun's good. How's yours, Franz? And Franz is like, my machine gun's good. How's yours, Heinrich? And Heinrich's like, my machine gun's good. And then this guy, Dan Daly, goes, hey, you sons of bitches, do you want to live forever?
That guy, yeah.
That's where that quote comes from. This guy, Dan Daly. So Dan Daly, hold on, hear me out on this. And this is for effect. Says, hey, you sons of bitches, do you want to live forever? And he takes his company, and they murder the fuck out of the fucking Germans. And then he gets written up for a fucking Medal of Honor for that. However, because it was fucking 1918, Congress is like, well, you know, he said a bad word.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious. He said bitches when he charged the hill. So we're going to have to degrade this from a Medal of Honor to down to here. So this dude with his like half of a fucking company fucking goes and like murders the fuck out of a German fucking division, but he said, you sons of bitches. And they had to degrade that from a Medal of Honor to fucking.
That's mad. Like, I mean, I heard that story, and I mean, in the Vegas kind of notions, I always like heard that phrase as one of those kind of like, you know, war calls. Like, you want to live forever. Like, I just didn't think it got downgraded because he said you sons of bitches.
It's a thing, man. It's a fucking thing. But on that, give me a second.
Yeah.
Had to pull on that drag. Fucking Damien.
Yep.
This has been good crack.
Hell yeah.
This has been good crack. This has been fucking great crack. Fuck, I'm gonna have you on next month just because like I can't help.
Yeah, count me in, buddy. Count me in. Yeah.
I can't help but fucking talking to you because like we're brothers from different mothers, man.
Hell yeah, buddy. Yeah, definitely. You let me know whenever you're free next month. Yeah, 100%.
Dude, we'll fucking get it on. And then on that, since we're on the fucking outro, fucking we're on fucking hour 4. My wife's fucking harassing me about dinner because you know.
Listen to your wife, buddy.
But listeners at home, what is it? Blood Red Sand is a fucking goddamn good book. It doesn't come out until July, so you can only pre-order it. But in your fucking waiting time for this, you need to go read a book called Big Red.
Hell yeah.
All right. Fucking Damien. Before we get off, I'm gonna hold you for like 5 more minutes, just because like I think my outros need a fucking like long minute. Also, listeners at home and people who listen to this later, we're not done yet. We're just almost done.
Hell yeah.
Damien, would you do me the honor of giving me a rough fucking laydown of what Big Red is about and why we should read Big Red before we go pre-order Blood Red Sand? By the way, you should pre-order Blood Red Sand and buy Big Red now and read it because they're fucking bangers. Also on that, go back to some other thing. Banger is a fucking English term. Is there an Irish term for banger?
Yeah, we'd say banger as well. Yeah.
Okay, so these books are fucking bangers. So Damien, why should people read Big Red and what is it about? And why after Big Red should we go to fucking Blood Red Sand? Also, by the way, before Damien goes into this, I got the fucking like pre-release copy because I'm a fucking baller like that. Damien, you're fucking you're still.
Yeah, so like Big Red it's all about like an Irish soldier. It's told from the perspective of an Irish soldier because obviously if you can't tell from my accent, I'm Irish.
No,
I always wanted to. I always want to read kind of like sci-fi or kind of like see science fiction with I suppose characters from my country kind of portrayed, and I think the only thing that I can think off the top of my head would be in Star Trek when we had Chief O'Brien in Deep Space Nine, and he was a fantastic character. He really pulled it together. But I mean, if you look at I think he was great. He was great, But
I love O'Brien not because he was Irish, because he was the only enlisted guy.
Yeah, and I see. I think that's the thing as well that kind of got to me a little bit. Like, he was a fantastic character. He played the enlisted man very, very well, but he was like the only enlisted man compared to all the officers within that cast. So I mean, it was one of those things. I suppose they always say write the book that you want to read yourself, and I wanted to read about like an Irish person who's out there doing stuff and I wanted to write a perspective. I suppose like when it comes to you look at science fiction, military science fiction, a lot of it is based on the American kind of thing because we're all culturally we watch a lot of American TV programs and books and stuff like that, but I wanted one to be specifically based on the Irish I suppose outlook and interpretation, and to have like an Irish person serving in the British Army, believe it or not, is still a controversial thing in this day and age. There's people who are Irish citizens who serve in the British Army who can't come back to Ireland and talk about their military service because of that, So that's something that I wanted to create a world where you had Irish and British soldiers serving side by side without any animosity, that they were like fighting for what they believed to be a common cause against, they considered an alien aggressor. There's a lot more to it than that. Like, I mean, it serves with like a genuine kind of like private soldier, not someone who's like an officer or anything like that. Day to day kind of boring, ridiculous, stupid stuff where you're just, I mean, we've all been there, like monotonous tasks. There's a lot of stuff in there. It deals with, I suppose, like, yeah.
And I will interject on that fucking, I'm sorry for mispronouncing this, like Lachlan,
yeah.
Yeah. Lachlan is a fucking enlisted fucking dude, fucking taking the shit that comes with enlisting in the military as a fucking filthy enlisted swine.
I've been there.
Dirty peasants that just so happen to fucking want to serve their fucking country.
Yeah, and that's literally it. He just wants to, I suppose, like he wants to get a bit of extra cash, like to support his family. It goes for what he believes to be like a security job within the UN. Turns out he gets transported to Mars. He serves a year-long tour of duty with what's called the Mars Occupation Force, who basically polices a formerly Nazi colony on Mars called New Berlin.
Also on this, like not as the author, as a reader, there's a lot of parallels with Doom. I'm saying fucking maybe not exactly demons, but like there's some Doom shit going on in these books.
Yeah, a lot of kind of twists and stuff. Like I like to throw a lot of kind of twists and turns in there. So I mean, you walk in reading it and it's not, you know, exactly what you think it's going to be. There's a lot of twists and turns to it, even in terms of the character itself. Like it's, you know, you never really know where it's going to go. But long story short, Irish soldier fights Nazis and aliens on Mars. Buy it now. Slayer rules.
Motherfucking Slayer. Motherfucking Slayer.
Yeah.
All right, so on that, fucking Damien, fucking thank you fucking so much for being here.
Pleasure.
We are going to do this again. If no other, actually, do you know what, fucking Damien? You know, there's something that I don't hope happens, but at the same time, I kind of do hope it happens.
Hell yeah.
I hope that we have some schism and we end up hating each other, but we still come here. We still come. No, we still come here, and I'm saying, you fucking stupid Irish bitch, and you're like, you stupid American.
You fucking no, I'd be like, fuck you, you fucking.
But the whole time we're like, hey, but the whole time you're like, hey, listen, you American fuck.
I'd say Yank.
And I'm like, listen, you stupid Irish bitch, and I'm drinking Jameson. And the whole time we're like, hey, Jameson, you should give us money for this. I'm not saying I hope that happens. I'm just saying worst case scenario, fucking Jameson. Look at me, Jameson. Fucking sponsor us. Anyway, Damien, fucking you're my favorite guy to fucking have on. I think the only person I've had on more than you is Dan, and that's only because he lives here and like have to be fucking whatever's.
Good dude.
No, I'm serious. Like fucking people on wise. Dan's the only person I've had on more, and it's only because he's like here and like pro whatever. Like me and him, like one-on-one, I think it's only happened once.
Right.
And I loved him to death. He's like one of my best fucking friends.
And he's good.
But like, as far as this goes, fucking, hey, dude, you're number one on this fucking show.
I'll take that, man.
Yeah.
Cheers.
And I don't hope that we have a schism, but if we do have a schism, we have to get on here anyway just to fucking insult each other.
Yes, man. You bring that on anytime. No problem.
Fucking yeah. So anyway, last drink. Fucking How about this? Fucking, this is an American thing, but like it might apply to Ireland. I don't know if it doesn't or does not. From the north to the south, to the whole damn nation, to the state that I love, the state of intoxication.
I will drink to that. And look, on that note, God bless America. God bless Ireland. Cheers, folks.
Aye.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on board.
Thanks for being on.